Prime one, that's him. Sky, thought you thought, but I wasn't born yesterday. All I do is ball, you goofies underestimate. Heavyweight bag, step on your weight class. I done moved across states, blood I can't cap. Strap with it on my pivot, clocking digits. Rock hard and I ain't even in the kitchen. I'm on a mission to move soft, make a thing flip like a moonsault. Keep a switch for everybody through salt. Face froze, somebody check dude's pulse. Is you stepping or stepped on? Wake the game up, make them regret I was slept on. Bogey's world, welcome to a new dawn. Till I move up, I can never move on. Big bread got me bougie past the great poop on. I'm getting over while you busy fighting over croutons. Yeah, bogeyism, a true boat brother gon' get it. All this water got me tripping. Hella fish scale, but I ain't fishing. See I move with precision. When it comes to living, I'm the definition. If I stand for one thing, it's all business. Bogeyism, it just hit different. Yeah, it just hit different. You find my story is all non-fiction. I put my fan before me and I gotta mention. I keep an air fan tone my henchman. For you squares, option for opposition. And you ops to get popped trying to stop my ascension. Talking generational, you got my attention. Underworld motivational, you feel the sensation. Try to see how I look, get booked, I'll take it. I was just a crook, all it took was some patience. Now my phone off the hook, I got hella deals waiting. You ain't really made it unless you got somebody hating. Bogey's world, welcome to a new dawn. Till I move up, I can never move on. Big bread got me bougie past the great poop on. Getting over while you busy fighting over croutons. Yeah, bogeyism, a true boat brother gon' get it. All this water got me tripping. Hella fish scale, but I ain't fishing. See I move with precision. When it comes to living, I'm the definition. If I stand for one thing, it's all business. Bogeyism, it just hit different. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You already know. Top of the tip top. It's another live edition of the Wake
Your Gamer. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You already know. I don't know why my shit's like playing back. Whoa, that's crazy. Anyways, what's happening, fellas? Top of the morning.
Top of the top. Top.
You know
A
what I mean?
wonderful morning.
We
It still
definitely
feels
got-
like spring where I'm at, so I'm very happy about it. I'm hearing lots of severe weather cases elsewhere in the nation. To be you, man. I'm I'm dealing with like 70 degrees, maybe some fucking overcast skies. Man, I'm not excited for this fucking summer, dude. This is perfect. I wish we could stay like that.
Yeah, tell me about it.
If you were an animal, I think you would be whatever kind of animal that hibernates at one point, you know?
Oh,
I feel like you would be like a hibernator.
hater, yeah.
Like, you know, you can just hibernate through the summer, really. You know, just wake
Yeah,
up.
pretty much.
football.
That's what the polar bear does, right? They're the opposite. They
Yeah. They're like, oh, god damn it, it's hot. Let's go to sleep.
No.
It's cold. Let's go to sleep.
Yeah, they definitely run around in summertime.
And they rock a fur coat all day too. See that?
Actually, I don't know. Maybe that might be a struggle of the polar bear where they don't get to hibernate like a grizzly or whatever. You know,
That is true, huh?
They're
just always angry.
Yeah, they're just fucking hungry.
Put me in
Hella
that
cranky.
goddamn Coca-Cola commercial.
I woke up on the wrong side of the bed every day.
They got that, so the blubber. You know, there's not a lot of nutrients in that. I think it's just strictly fat. You know, it's like they got
Like
they
the
got
fucking walrus.
much fat.
Oh, my
Before-
mother.
That's how they
before
used to make their
feel
carrots. That's how they used to
inside.
like their lanterns back in the day, huh?
Yeah,
Many people died to acquire this polar bear blubber.
yeah, yeah. That shit. I guess it drips slow. I don't know.
Where the polar bears at?
They're
That's only
Antarctica.
Alaska.
Where are they?
I mean, no, Alaska, only Antarctica.
Yeah.
Polar. Yeah, polar caps.
Wherever it's
Oh.
cold.
Well, they got them in.
You think this is due to evolution?
Alaska.
Because I feel like they
And-
weren't cold before.
Huh? They weren't cold before. They could.
Yeah, like because I subscribe to the
They-
polar shift theory.
They could have got a dominant trait, which would have been their white.
I mean,
fur, right?
cold as in like the climates they were living in.
Well, I think in any bear, the bears usually live in those types of environments, if I'm not mistaken.
True.
There's not a lot. I guess there's a smaller bear, but big bears like pandas and polar bears and grizzly bears and big black bears and brown bears are all.
Okay, who wins in a fight? The polar. This is the polar bear,
Polar
the baddest motherfucker.
The 100%
We got a big old
polar
bear battle royal. Polar
And-
bear
and-
versus brown bear.
Remember how we were saying that they don't hibernate? Now, don't take that for a fact, but I think that they might not hibernate because it's so competitive and so and so scarce with the food that they don't have the option to stack up on a bunch of shit and take it easy. I think
So
they
they eat
always have
everything.
to fucking eat. So they're always hunting in the worst conditions and doing weird shit that no other bear wants to do. And so
Like dive into the ice.
they just evolved, you know, the all white fur, the ability to keep it on because that's another thing. Is like I think they retain body like
Mass.
their mass. Like they don't
So they don't take any dumps.
they don't
Really.
burn. I guess once they eat and then they get to the certain size that they want, maybe they just chill out and don't do much. But then they gotta go. And then
And this
Yeah.
has been the nature.
Yeah, the grizzly,
corner of Twitter.
it doesn't stand a chance from what I understand because the attitude of the polar bear. So going back to the scarcity of the food and how hard it is to live in its environment, that amount of buildup, it creates an angry animal which gives it an advantage in a fight for survival.
So he'll eat his opponents.
Yeah,
He's like,
He'll
look, I don't give a
eat
fuck if
everything.
you're a bear. You dinner. Okay.
polar bear will eat everything.
What about the panda bear?
Polar bear will eat.
They know
Panda,
kung
panda.
fu.
Nah, polar bear is so angry at life because it sucks up there so hard that he just fucking shits on
What about the
everything
pan-
that comes in its way.
I feel like the panda bear is intelligent enough to fashion some sort of gigantic blow
panda bear?
gun, like blow dart gun with the bamboo stick.
I'm not sure, but I thought I've read somewhere where panda bears are actually like semi dumb, like on the verge of being on the spectrum.
Oh,
Like that.
really? Is that why they're always just really happy with life? Period. They're just like so content.
I think it's the bamboo. Like I think it's the shit that they eat and no like not very many animals eat what they eat.
I
So
think we're borderline panda bear shaming right now.
Yeah. About to
Yeah.
get canceled by all the pandas that's watching.
yeah.
No.
Watch out for Peter.
Shout out to what's Brad's name? Player?
Kung Fu Panda? Jack Black?
No. The player. The big Hispanic dude. Played with the
Sandoval.
Giants.
Sandoval.
Oh, for the
Sandoval,
Giants.
yes.
For the
Shout out to
Giants.
Sandoval.
Okay.
Yeah, Pablo.
I've actually seen Sandoval swing a big old bat made of bamboo.
Yeah, that man sucked too for the Red Sox.
I have a bamboo bat. It's not legal
I was
for
just making that up. They really got that?
yeah. They take pieces, so they take strips of it and then they compress it, and then the compressing portion creates like a bonding, and they're able to have like a bat out of like
Wow.
pieces.
So they pound this bitch down like a fucking like a blacksmith making a samurai sword?
Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with heat and then compressing it together. So there's some sort of like press, it's pushing two pieces of metal together to compress the because it's fibrous.
Sammy Sosa was like, put a cork in the middle of mine.
And I don't know if I have one. Actually, if I have one laying around, I can show you what I mean.
Hey, kiddo, why don't you fuck around? Remember we were talking about golf and different golf balls, and there's like, oh, here's my golf balls. He just had them on hand. Here's my bamboo. Here's my bamboo bat.
Let's favorite weapon.
Let's shout out the chat, man. We got a Neil in the building, man. Top of the morning, Emil.
Hey, Canada, stand up.
Dope.
We got Mr. CEO, Stay Tuned Live, JB in the building.
What's up, JB? I'm back tonight, baby.
Come on now, we in the building, man. Make sure y'all come pull up 7 p.m. West Coast time. Stay tuned live, man. Make sure you go like, subscribe, and comment, man. Hit that bell, get locked in, man. 100%. We got King D in the building, top of the morning, bro.
What up, King D? LBC in this thing.
Come on now. He said,
LBC.
Lee, did you survive the storm?
Hell yeah, I did.
He said, yeah. Thank you for asking. Brandon said, bears hibernate in the winter, but polar bears think that's stupid because it's always winter. Oh, everything.
They're like, it's like reverse racism. They hating on us white bears over here.
Come on now.
Hey, look at this. Cocaine bear will take out any polar bear, I swear to God.
Hey, they like, man, fuck them motherfuckers on the other side of the hemisphere, man. They don't know what real life is anyways. They get stomachs.
North America, and they got real cocaine bears in that motherfucker, man.
Come on now. And Brandon said Texans off season is sus, signing Chubb, Woody, and Cox. Paul.
Yeah.
That fool is stupid. Brandon came through this motherfucking tearing shit up every time. Salute to Brandon. Salute to everybody that's in the motherfucking chat, man.
It was right there in front of us. Pause.
Now they're going, damn. How do we go viral with this squad? It's gonna be easy.
Come on, facts, bro. Oh, my mama, we had an animal pause. We had a whole episode of just all pauses. Oh, everything.
Man.
Then we got Blue Chew popping up in the motherfucking comment.
Yeah, man. Use promo code
Blue Chew.
Bogey Hard and get you 25%. Don't laugh.
I'm telling you. Hey, only on the GWN. Oh, my
use
mama.
promo code boing and get
Boy yoing yoing.
50% off.
Speaking of,
It will get you clingy.
Speaking of promos, let's go ahead and run a promo before we go to the streets, man. This show is sponsored by NeonPeacockMerch.com, man. 100%. We'll be right back. Yes, sir. NeonPeacockMerch.com, man. Get locked the fuck in, man. You see it on the screen right there at the bottom of the screen, man. You know what I mean? For you slow motherfuckers that's slower than me or I'm slower than y'all, you know what I mean? I learn visually, so there it go right there, man. Get tapped what the fuck in. Do yourself a favor.
That man can do anything.
Oh,
I learned everything I know from Kid. I ain't gonna lie.
Brandon said, and the Texans are represented by Peacock. and then JB said promo code Bogey Hard. Top of it, Minnesota Den. What's up, Skull Gang?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to lock down that Blue Chew affiliate sponsorship, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
It's on the way right now. Oh, my mama. Lee, how you feeling this morning, big bro?
I'm feeling hunky fucking dory.
You ready to go to the streets, big bro?
Take him to the streets.
He charged up. Hold up.
Ready.
He can't contain it.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, let's just say Trevor Lawrence is having a slingy day. Trevor Lawrence was spotted at minicamp today with a sling on his arm.
Wow.
He just trying to distract everybody from that poor wig that he thinks everyone's fooled by. He's really bald. How ironic is it? And he's never bald, has he? Number one pick overall, and he barely bald like outside of fucking what's under that fake wig.
Yeah. Well.
Hold on. Well, what's the sling? What was going on?
I don't know. What? They just said that he was spotted this morning with a sling, his arm in a sling.
You know, I am a doctor.
Right. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, big bro.
I'm a doctor. I just realized. See, this is an arm right here. See that? That's an arm. You see, that's another arm right there too, for other frames of reference, right? So you got two of them, right? You can't throw the ball if you got your arm in the sling. See, he's a quarterback. This is a big problem. You know?
His bone's getting ready for his road trip.
See what I'm saying? I'm a doctor. I broke that shit down better than any sports doctor that you ever encounter. Go ahead, continue, Streets.
Well, the Indianapolis Colts handed over ownership transition to Jim Irsay's daughter. His older daughter, Carly, is going to become the owner and CEO, while the other three sisters are going to sharing leadership roles with the club.
That's how you know Jim Irsay was a wild man. He was a Rolling Stone. All daughters is usually a telltale sign of it. You know what I mean? He was out there lambing them. You know what I mean? Players have daughters, B.
Mm-hmm. Well, while we're on the Colts wide receiver coach Reggie Wayne is viewed as a possible interim head coach if Shane Steichen struggles to start the season.
Hold on.
Shout out to the U.
Yeah, shout out to you, right? Hey, Reggie Wayne, imagine how angry he gets when he sees the poor play of these receivers and QBs.
What's up, Albert?
He's getting in motherfuckers' faces, huh?
Yeah, remember just not too long ago, they brought Jeff Saturday out of ESPN to be the interim coach as well.
Mm-hmm. He was famous. Remember that famous clip where he's in Manning's face like a motherfucker, bro. Yeah. Manning's in his face too. They going at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were. We got Crooked in the building. We got Albert in the building.
What up, Albert?
Yeah, my guy Saturday went to North Carolina. He's a Jordan representative, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Well, as for Brandon and our main man, Peacock, well, Nick Chubb officially passed his physical and is signing with the Houston Texans.
Chubb Rock.
Okay, let's break this one down a little bit. What's your thoughts here, kidda? What is the Nick Chubb fantasy implications? What does this mean for Joe Mixon? Are we dropping Joe Mixon at all in rankings? Like, what's your thoughts?
No, I'm treating this as a middle of the game breather back that can actually give a full drive spell and nothing more. He shouldn't get any goal line work unless they're not getting any production. Then obviously, it's like next man up. But for the most part, I think the Texans have an idea of what they want from Chubb, and I don't think it's a committee with Mixon. There's not a whole lot riding on it. There's not a lot of risk.
No, there's not much money. Huh?
And there's a potential that in the case of an injury to any of those running backs, he brings a veteran body that can basically understand the grind, and hopefully he doesn't try too hard. Save the best for the game. Don't try and win the starter position. I don't think. I know that's not that doesn't sound like a player thing to do, but I think he's at this point in his career. He has to know that there's a role for him, and that being available for that role is the most important. So take it easy. I know you're getting.
You know what's kind of funny? I think people view Nick Chubb as far older for some reason. They're only 6 months apart. Him and Joe Mixon, they're the same draft class. It's kind of funny.
You know what's another thing about that Texans offense, even though it's a new coordinator coming in, last year they barely ran the ball. They were 22nd in rushing attempts in the league and 15th in yards and 15th in rushing TDs. You know what I mean? So, it was a lot on CJ Stroud. Now we might be able to blame that on the offensive line, you know what I mean? But it might change, but they put a lot on CJ, especially with the wide receiver in the second round and the third round, and then you got Nico over there. You know what I mean?
So in the offseason,
they be Kirk in the offseason 100%. Like, yeah, they, the writing's on the wall. That Chubb signing ain't really gonna do too much, but a spell back if they continue to go the way that they did and rely heavily on the pass. 100%, 22nd in rushing attempts. That type of offense that they had, it had to be. I ain't gonna say it had to be, but something had to do with it with the offensive line. 100%, bro.
Yeah, and like when we talk about Chubb and his career 5.5 yards a carry, all the way up, that was his career average, all the way up until last year. I'm not even gonna count last year when he's coming off his second ACL. And that was that immediate year. Because one of my cardinal rules is if there's a running back, I kind of avoid that running back the immediate year after ACL. Now we're going to be 2 years removed. I mean, and you look at someone like Joe Mixon, I think it's like 4.2, 4.4, something like that. Yards per carry was his greatest season average because he's usually been, around league average for the most part. But maybe, JD, you can figure this out for me. Who scored more touchdowns in their career, Chubb or Mixon? Because I feel like Mixon is just one of those. He's a red zone threat, a dual threat. You know what I mean? Versus like Chubb, I know Chubb's had a bunch of touchdowns, but it's never really been like. Maybe he's caught a screen and took one to the house before, but it's always been just he pounds it in. And even he kind of spent a career having Kareem Hunt there for a few years, being the red zone guy over there. You know what I mean?
Oh my mama!
I think the big difference is that we're still giving the Chubb the ability to probably recover fully from the surgery and the whole bounce back. Probably, I don't think it's ready to be better than Mixon at face value. I think Mixon is gonna his ability.
Chubb also ran behind a great offensive line.
Okay, here we go. Right here, Mixon got 74 and Chubb got 56.
See, I felt like Mixon significantly had more and that's like you said, JD.
My bad, King Green.
Mixon is not going to be affected by Chubb in no red zone or none of that shit.
The Bengals for a long time were consistently knocking on the door for an AFC Championship game. So it doesn't surprise me that Mixon has more touchdowns because the Bengals were way better than the Browns during
that is facts.
Those years. Touchdowns don't really mean much to me. But
I'm trying to determine if there will be situations for Chubb. This is why I wanted to look at who just even scores more in their career, if that mattered, because that's going to be my point where it's I don't think Chubb's going to affect him in the red zone because Joe Mixon also has the pass catching ability. he's a dual threat when you're down there. You're not one dimensional just having Chubb down there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got Chubb there, you might go, hey, big, you know what I mean? You see everyone start flexing like, hey, we're getting big up front. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mixon is more of a 3-down back with a team like the Texans, who rely on the prominent passing game. I know that the Tank Dell injury sucks, but we got the 2 new rookies, and they're pretty interesting. We'll see if Higgins can step right.
I think it's enough to make defenses honest. You're not going to be able to just stack the box on the Houston run game, period.
Yeah, I think he can step right into a role, and they're interchangeable, which is going to be confusing for defense.
Oh, that's going to be so annoying if it's like that.
Take to the tape, because they could easily screw with their head and run the same play, but swap the receivers, and they wouldn't know where the ball's going or anticipate it a little bit more. They could be more biased to one player and where they line up as opposed to the week before. I don't know. It just doesn't, to me, having 2 Nico Collins on your squad is not
2's
bad.
better than 1.
Yeah.
One is too close to none, as they say.
Come on, now.
Because they're getting all sorts of production and
no, they better not lose both Nicos.
They know how to scheme a player with those skill sets, and then Noel, he's like 100%. Like, he's gonna have that Tank Dell, bro. Like, right out the gate, they're gonna use him the same way, as long as he's not a disaster in the off season. But as long as he's not a disaster, he's doing all those Tank Dell routes, and they're gonna have the ability to go back to that section in their playbook, so to say.
That F guy, shout out to my dog Ryan. He was in the mock draft with us in the single QB 2 weeks ago. 100%.
Shout out to Ryan.
He said Chubb can cook if his burst is still there. If they are serious about their run game, fourth quarter is going to have a lot of teams folding on defense. Chubb is someone who needs a couple of series.
Go get him, Chubb. After they wore them down for 3 quarters, then you hit him with a fresh Chubb. Pause.
What we've been getting is we've been fortunate to have multi-touchdown games since he's been back, but I think he's averaging like 50 yards.
Yeah, or under.
I mean, I remember when Nick Chubb was coming around, and then he's being tied to Chicago and things of that nature. I said, why wouldn't Baltimore just look at him? Because just have him do absolutely nothing unless something happens to Derrick Henry, and then you have this other guy who's a fucking load carrier.
Hey, that's that's what I think he's doing here.
Yeah.
Honestly,
okay. I like your version because that's where I'm at. I feel like he should just be the guy who doesn't really do much
give him a role, and they
outside of maybe
chewing the
clock out in
games, and say, hey, we're gonna use you as a breather back. You're gonna be a 3-down back, but you're gonna spell Mixon, and then when Mixon goes down, you're the only other guy that they have on the squad right now. I don't know what this Woody Marks guy is truly capable, but at least we know that we've got a first down and a second down back with Chubb, and then you can utilize the younger guys or whoever else is on that roster.
Oh man, I hope nothing happens to Sir Joe Mix-a-Lot. But then I agree with you. If Nick Chubb gets in there, it's going to be Chubb and Woody.
Yeah. There you go.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Because Chubb ain't never been a pass catching guy like that at all. He's never running routes like that.
That is in the the upper management's that's on their board at the top, I'm sure.
Chubby Wood.
Yeah.
Fucking A, bruh.
Week 10 ETA.
Yeah.
So I don't want Mixon to go down. I'm not a.
I have another question for y'all. So now with just Chubb being there, period, right? It's like Mixon was kind of like a 4-5 turnaround guy in a super flex the other day, right? Or the other last week.
Mm-hmm.
He went in that like kind of range. Are we dropping him more? Because the further he drops, the more I want Mixon, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Mixon is the type of RB that you want if you go on hero RB if you get him in the fifth. If you land with Mixon with three wide receivers and a quarterback or a tight end. Yeah, that shit is federal, bro.
Yeah,
I love to have Mixon as my first RB in a hero strategy.
Yeah.
I like touchdowns, and I cannot lie.
Them is facts. Chubb is someone who needs a couple of series to get the engine revved up. If I'm the Texans, I'm giving Chubb preseason reps to get the rhythm back, then split series Chubb and Mixon. Oh, my mama.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, Jerome Ford looks a lot better
in the event that it's like that. I don't want to have any of them, or I'm holding one, hoping one of the other dies.
Well, with mini camp starting, there are 3 big players that have yet and said they will not be reporting. It's going to be Trey Hendrickson, T.J. Watt, and scary Terry McLaurin.
Oh shit!
Huh?
Yeah.
Pass
rushers and till they seek new deals. Otherwise, they will not be reporting to.
Okay. So they're sit-ins or
they're all waiting on.
Hey, I would totally be a sit-in. I would just be there while they're all practicing, and I'd just be hella annoying. Hey, where my money at?
Yeah.
That's what Chase was doing last year.
To talk right now?
Yeah.
That's what Chase was doing.
I'm right here standing in till you got my money.
We got Bakes in the building. Top of the morning, Bakes.
Top of the morning, Bakes. I'll be hella irritated in that motherfucker. Yo, where's my bread at?
Yeah. Well,
I just start asking other players, hey, bro, you see my bread?
It's my money and I want it now. Every day.
Well, JG Wentworth in the practice.
Yeah. Well,
hey, you didn't want me to hold out?
Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh officially signed Aaron Rodgers to his 1-year, $13.65 million deal.
$10 million guaranteed. They watched the McAfee show. He was on McAfee. Said, "Look, I'll play for $10 million."
We're gonna hold you to that. Everything.
Yeah, real
talk.
Hey, the Rooney's is hella smart.
Well, the Falcons expect Kirk Cousins to show up for Atlanta's mandatory minicamp starting today.
Hold on. Oh, he said that he's actually showing up?
He's going to show up, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he signed. Good for him. He's all married and shit now.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to shower. Remember the last MVP run? He didn't shower at all. He's like, yeah, I stopped showering.
Oh, dude.
Whoa.
This fool's hair was all, he stopped cutting his hair. Do you remember? He was all
Whoa.
He was playing it. That was the best. That was some of the best Aaron Rodgers we've ever seen.
That is crazy.
Well, there is speculation that the loser of the Browns rookie quarterback battle between Shador and Gabriel could be traded before the season begins.
Hey, this is how they do it in the Browns. They go like, they just play paper, scissors, rock. All right, come on. All right, that's you.
Well, so that means Deion's telling Shador right now, saying, okay, just don't win. Whatever you do, don't win.
I got a spot for you right now.
I mean, think about this. In true fantasy
what if he goes to Kansas City and he becomes back up to Mahomes? Oh, man.
Look, if I'm the Browns, I'm doing it like how I do fantasy football, bro. I drafted Shador in the 5th round. I'm trying to flip him, bro, to get me like a 2 or the player or something like, you know what I mean?
He ain't gonna get nothing.
I'm gonna shine him up real nice. Pause. I'm gonna have this motherfucker out there throwing shit. Look good, give him easy.
And look at what he's gonna have to work
good on tape and flip his ass. Pause.
Look what he has to work with. A running game. Okay. Damn, Shador looks really great.
Nick Chubb 2.0.
And the ball off to these 2 rookie running backs.
Yeah, I know, right?
No matter what, Dallas is gonna like what they see. Look at the way he hands that ball off.
Dude, anyways, hasn't thrown.
Reminds me of Aikman. It's like a black Aikman.
Hey, Rod trash. Gabriel is out of there, bro. Bro looks 5'9", and there he out there, and he ain't Kyler Murray with legs.
Yeah,
he does look small though, bro.
They are physical backs. Fantasy, I want Mixon to get 20 to 25 touches in the game, though. I'm beating defenses up and killing over the top with Stroud.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying earlier, was that the team is built to throw the ball, and it's ready to do it this season.
They're bringing in a Sean McVay disciple. They're gonna throw that thing. And then it telegraphs that they're gonna throw it. Look what they drafted, everything they did in the offseason, bringing in Kirk. I do worry about that offensive line, but for what it's worth, in reality, the funny part is that Stroud has been able to operate behind an even worse offensive line his second year as far as pressure's given up.
Yeah,
than his first year, and he's still in reality got him in the playoffs. Now they're gonna try to sling this rock and then tee off on defense, like while they run the scoreboard up. Like this is the Rams way. This is the way of the NFL, the way of the Niners, the way of everybody from that coaching tree. It's run the scoreboard up and tee off on defense. And that's
52 sacks last year he took. That's crazy.
I'm not sure, but I like the idea of them getting a long list of linemen to be out there competing for depth roles for the Texans.
They got like 40 of them.
That might be what that might be the ticket is. Maybe not so much having a lead in terms of the best of the best, but having a bunch of guys that can rotate, and since the rules are set to give you the time to make these defensive alignment changes, so this be happy that this time around they're not shuffling starters around. That they got people behind and make sure that like certain players play their position and continue to do their role well. And I think the overall offseason for the Texans was okay. Let's try and fix the offensive line as best as possible without going above their they have another goal somewhere that they're saying, hey, we need to get more receivers because fucking Mechie and the other dude weren't cutting it. So let's get two.
Remember the Bengals? The Bengals could have had Penei Sewell. They're like, screw that, Jamar Chase, let's go.
Yeah. And that worked out for both. For both.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck it, we'll deal with that shit later.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Fornicator in the building. What's up, Fornicator?
What's up, Smoking
Jay?
Fucking the game up.
That would have been a fucking beast of a duo, wide receiver duo in Detroit if Chase did go to Detroit and play with Amon-Ra.
That would have been nasty.
Chase Brown. You have the Chase Brown there.
No,
I guess Chase St. Brown.
Yeah. Isn't that wild? That would have been wild.
That would have been somebody. That would have been somebody's fantasy team. Chase St. Brown.
Yeah.
Bakesalot said something like one of y'all just said. What if KC sends a 26 for Shador? That's just like it being a fifth. He said.
I mean, I could see the Eagles doing that. I could see the Eagles even sliding a third, being like, because Howie Roseman is just smart like that.
Yeah.
Because remember, they were tied to getting him when he kept falling further and further. It was like, oh, the 49ers and the Eagles. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, the 49ers ain't interested. The Eagles are. And then all of a sudden, and with the fucking whatever the fuck pick, the Cleveland Browns select Shador goddammit Sanders.
Yeah.
Shador was like, hey, quit capping. He was like, quit capping. They're like, no.
I thought that would have been a smooth veteran move by that Raiders staff. That young staff over there should have been doing something as savvy as that, in my opinion, because Geno Smith is a great quarterback to learn from, I think, for Shador's case. They're kind of similar the way they play football. And Geno,
you have the Tom Brady correlation.
If you really are good enough to beat Geno, that means you're probably like a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
Look at this. You get that phone call. You're Shador Sanders. He looks at it. He goes, oh, hold on, guys. It's my uncle. What's up, Uncle Tom? Because that's his uncle, bro.
Fuck,
Tom Brady is his fuck. They're tight.
Hey, the Raiders drafted a quarterback. The Raiders drafted a quarterback this year.
Oh, there it is. Making Duke get out with Cam Miller.
Oh, my mama.
Is Cam Miller any kind of notable? I just been picking him up wherever he was available in the dynasties.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go watch his highlights. That motherfucker was balling, bro. Oh, everything, and he can run too.
Yeah.
Oh, everything. Chip Kelly might be able to do something with him.
He liked the mobile. He like having that. He does open that playbook up. That mobile QB move out.
Well, Dolphins tight end Jonnu Smith is setting out off-season activities while seeking a new contract. Also, he's another one that will not be there. Now, as for newly acquired Cowboys, George Pickens said he forced a trade to Dallas and claimed the Steelers wanted to keep him.
Who, man, this guy, you know what's funny about George Pickens, because like
He's just looking
how
for
the
some
fuck
press.
do you know with it? Like, hey, the Steelers, either the Steelers are the worst at keeping information in, or like all the receivers is just they just don't have a knack for these receivers that get super disgruntled and like non-focused on football.
Ryan said Jonnu about to get cut, and then Bakes a lot said Shador ain't worth the fourth.
Damn.
And Bakes is our resident Raider representative, so he's like, listen, no, we ain't giving up no fourth even.
And then Ryan said Indy's making
Tom
that.
Brady will make a couple phone calls.
Ryan said Indy making that trade if AR don't show serious growth. AR looking like Trey Lance low key.
Ooh.
And that seems like an organization. See, but then rest in peace to Irsay. When Irsay was running the show, bro, he's that. Let's get Shador, man.
He got enough sniffing here.
Yeah, man. You know,
well,
but that's going to be funny to see how they actually operate. I know we kind of glossed over that earlier, but now they got the daughter running it. I mean, she's probably young, right? She's probably like our age.
Oh, they're in their third. What the one that's taken over is in their 40s, mid 40s.
Yeah, because there's three of them, but the oldest one is the one.
Yeah, it's from that's going to be the owner / CEO.
She married too, so she's not even a nurse. And
he probably been training her too. She probably been right next to bruh. You know what I mean? She ain't walking into something just, you know.
They say she had something to do with like an affiliate team that he's been grooming her.
They need to go get Gardner Minshew and that motherfucker. They were a game out. They were a game out of the play.
In 2 seasons, they were a game out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, there are several people around the league that believe that quarterback Jameis Winston could be traded on back to the New Orleans Saints.
Dang. Slinging it. Kellen Moore. Yeah. Kellen Moore's there. Let's go. Fantasy. And they're not trying to win. This kid. But here's what's fucked up. It's like they're gonna bring him over there, and he's gonna start, and then they're gonna take a good look at all the QBs they have over there.
Yeah.
Because this is how they're gonna assure. Like, you know what's dope about Jameis Winston is he's gonna give some motivational speeches as a motherfucker, right? He's gonna really say some really polarizing things that's gonna really be good for these dudes. He's gonna lead these men straight to a loss. But he does it by firing them all up first. Then he goes out there and his signature maneuver, bro, because he is the former Pick Six president. You know what I mean? He's running for office again. They're trying to change the rules so he can be the president again. The Pick Six president, that is.
He gonna get him fired up straight to a loss. You ain't no good, bro. That's fire.
Yeah. Really fires, gets the people going, right? And then, hey, listen, because he's slinging it. He only knows one way.
Hey, was that at the Pro Bowl where he was doing the hosting? What event was it where he was doing the hosting and they was doing like a fucking event? And you know, he got that personality. He's a good dude, 100%. But you know what I mean?
Like a preacher. He could be he reminded me of one of them old school late night infomercial guys. Where they're just selling product.
He's on his home shopping network. That's his new hustle. He got his own home shopping network.
You feel me?
QVC.
Yeah.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings are eyeing a 3-year Super Bowl window with JJ McCarthy as their QB1.
He could be a television evangelist, bro.
Miss Cleo.
He can do psychic readings.
Young brother. That's what I see in your future. I see a W in your future. All you got to do is just eat the W, my brother.
If you want some infamous and famous readings, text 427.
Some infamous readings.
What's the number, Bones?
You ain't no good.
Well,
fuck, bro.
What's your thoughts on this one, Bogey? About the Vikings eyeing a 3-year Super Bowl window for J.J. McCarthy as their QB1.
Who is this? My bad. I totally.
The Vikings are eyeing a 3-year Super Bowl window with J.J. McCarthy as their QB1.
You know, that should be like every team's like with their eyes just set on, right? But then at the same time, too, like I guess because they already burnt up an entire year of him being hurt.
Yeah.
And then them saying 3, that means because they're not going to pick up his 5th-year option if he doesn't show them anything within these 3 years. And that team is built. It's a very nice car to drive. You know, now JJ's got his license. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got some very nice pieces
the open road.
Too.
Hey, Banks said Jameis Winston is the George W. Bush of football.
Let's go. He's like really terrible, but then everyone's like, hey, he's awesome, bro.
Fuck, bro.
Come on. What is it? George Washington, right? You know, come on. He wasn't the greatest guy. You know, when you win the war, you can tell the story how you want.
Well,
and our founding fathers came to this country with honor.
Coming out of Buffalo is standout running back James Cook, and the Bills aren't close at all on a big money contract extension he wants. It's a stalemate right now. It's a stalemate.
Hey, he won't damn near Saquon Barkley money.
Yeah, he won 20 a year, correct?
That motherfucker trying to get his block.
Dalvin Cook, his big brother's all in his ear too. Like, listen, bro, don't let them do you like they did me, bro. Don't let them do you like they did me, bro. They try to tell me running backs don't get money like that, bro. Then everyone started getting paid. Isn't that funny? Because Dalvin Cook, if he didn't tear his ACL that first year, he was a 2017 back. Yeah. Look at Joe Mixon and CMC, they still in the game from 2017. You know, the 2018. Oh no. Joe Mixon was 2018, but yeah, even Chubb still back all of a sudden. You know, Dalvin Cook, he was just done and he was done. Maybe it runs in the family. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, the Broncos quarterback Bo Nix has praised running back R.J. Harvey for his route running, quick hands, and strong work ethic in OTAs.
Let's get it.
R.J. Harvey's on the block.
Yup. And
R.J. Harvey to the moon.
While we're on the Broncos,
R.J.
Harvey.
R.J. Harvey.
Broncos tight end Evan Ingram will serve as the Joker in Sean Payton's offense, occasionally line up as a wide receiver in some packages.
This is true, but it's also partly throw off method because he's always going to line up to be a receiver. Yes, sometimes out wide, in this case being the Joker, but he's not. They're not ever fooling anyone if you have Evan Ingram lined up like he's looking like he's going to block. Never.
Yup.
Hey, Banks Alive said George Bush Jr., not George Washington, the cokehead, not the general.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, hey, you know, it's not really. I mean, shit. George Washington, George Bush, George Pickens. I mean, they all kind of annoy me. I ain't gonna lie.
George Lopez.
George Jefferson was doing it though.
George Jefferson on my mama.
George Lucas. Right?
George Lucas, right.
Yeah.
George Foreman. See, they got it. They had it right.
George Foreman. Everybody had a George Foreman grill.
Out there proud. They're making them all proud.
Yeah. Well,
Georgie, though. Yeah.
Oh, well,
to make him cry. Yeah, he's a player.
Boy George.
Boy George. Oh, come on. At least Boy George was proud to be who he was.
Yeah, I know,
right? Paul George.
Okay, PG. He ain't never got one on. Oh no, he did get one with Boston.
Jeff George.
Jeff George. Damn, throwback.
Well, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is under contract through 2027. The team has already discussed a new deal with their star quarterback. so he gets up in the echelon and paid again.
Didn't they just pay him?
That 2 years
that was
ago.
3 years ago already.
About 3 years ago.
That's crazy because this was like on the back of the Deshaun Watson bag.
Yeah.
It went like Lamar, then it went like Jalen, and then it went like Kyler, and then Herbert and Kyler, and everyone was getting
and his
paid
mama represents him.
Yeah.
Let's get it. He getting all the dough to himself. Him and his mama.
Let's go.
Well, Patriots running back Rahamador Stevenson said rookie
Rahamador.
Trevon said Trevon Henderson is explosive and learning quickly. Stevenson hopes to help Henderson adapt to the NFL game.
I believe that. He's a stand-up guy.
Bakes a lot said Curious George of the Jungle.
Oh shit.
Jorge.
Curious George throwback and George of the Jungle, bro. I said I'd be hitting trees like George of the Jungle.
Well,
I hit the tree like George of the Jungle. Bogart scot-free, trying to make my money double.
Come on now. Oh, everything.
Yeah. Well, Texans
That's just how the cookie crumble.
Texans head coach DeMeco Ryan said the team will look to add another cornerback soon because they has had someone retire not that long ago.
On their line, you said? My bad.
Cornerback.
Oh, cornerback.
Yeah.
Shit, Jair.
Right. Oh, everything.
Yeah. Well, the Commanders believe Deebo Samuel will have over 1,000 scrimmage yards this season, if not more.
Oh, that means they gonna let him run the ball.
Use him as a runner too.
Oh my mama.
Yeah. And then Rams linebacker Jared Verse thinks he left around 10 sacks on the field in his rookie year. He says that's not happening no more.
Just a pure defensive end. I guess they do run a they run a 3-4 over there.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit different though. Once we got towards the end of the season into the playoffs, I think he had a little bit more of a evolved role. But
I like it.
Yeah, he's definitely a talented young linebacker that intrigues me more than probably 99% of the young players right now. I think Verse is probably one of the guys.
Go right here. Let's pull him up.
I've been taking Verse right after people take Will Anderson.
Let's get him to do this consecutively and
talk about it, kitty. Here go right here, the advanced shit right here, big bro. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I did the advanced analytics. Look at that; they agree with my take. Outside of the sacks, which is something that you probably get better. Or the opportunity isn't called out. Like your number isn't called for a sack. You're not going out there and rushing the quarterback. Your role is play zone back here and cover this spot. So if they didn't utilize him that way, that's fine because they're young and they got to learn everything. And looks like he's pretty good at everything.
Rushing the passer and playing the run.
Yeah. Yep. So when I say one of the more intriguing young defensive players, I mean that in a literal sense of when you're watching the Rams play, that's going to be a fun player to.
I didn't realize he'd be getting tackles like that, B.
Yeah. Somebody who in my case, I like defense a lot, and so do these guys here too. So when I really appreciate a guy that goes sideline to sideline, play after play. Jared Verse is, to me, one of the next young studs.
Jared Verse, the world.
Hey, that's Jared Versace. We got Brock the Bugatti. We got the Versace. Come on now.
Versace.
Come on now.
What's that, Versace?
Yeah. Brandon said Texans just finished their presser. CJ is fine.
Yeah, they just said he was basically rested. They're just going to rest him.
George Clooney, George Costanza, gorgeous George Costanza. Come on now, let's go. Run it up, big bro. Oh my mama. This is the George episode. Oh my mama.
Shit. George Floyd.
Come on now. Facts. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Oh, my mama.
Shit. George Jefferson. I already said it. That was the first one I said.
Yeah.
That's all I
I
got.
wasn't around, so I don't want to start guessing. I'll be like, nah, you weren't there. Shut up.
We just trying to find any famous person named with George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First or last name, it don't matter.
All
Or
the known
nickname.
Georges.
So did we say Eddie George first?
There we go,
Boom.
right there. There's another one.
10 points, kidda. He's on the board.
Hey, you guys said Eddie George.
That motherfucking name
That's
did
so
not come
random.
up.
Man, George Carlin was the shit.
There we
there
go,
you
right
go.
there.
Look at that.
George
Ooh,
Carlin.
20 points lead.
George Carlin, you can't
There
get
we
any
go.
better than that.
Man, fuck it. George Karlaftis. It's just
There we go, another one.
That's like a half
You
point.
got George
Put me on the board.
The Greek freak.
Oh, my mama.
You know what I mean? George Carlin was fucking awesome. That
You
guy
got
was-
George the Animal Steel.
Here we go.
Ooh, George
Talk
the
about it.
Animal Steel. That's throwback. That was way
You got
before. That
George
was even before
Foreman.
your time, Lee.
You got George Foreman, rest in peace.
I already called it.
Facts.
Minus points from Lee.
All right.
I already
I'm a
said
good
George
judge.
Foreman. I was like,
See, that's why I didn't even want
in
to
a real
try.
game. He's like, oh,
And
he
then
got
in my
mad that
mind,
took away
I'm
the
thinking,
fictional
oh,
points.
we got football on the brain out 24/7. I was like, hey George, like you're like, nah.
I know, right?
I can't, hey, Jim is facts, big bro. I can't believe that nobody say that shit.
Ooh.
Oh, my mama.
Yeah, he played a cool minute.
I said
Yeah.
Jeff George. Oh, everything.
Yeah.
The quarterback with all the arm talent in the world and couldn't put shit
That
together.
shit made me laugh right there when you
Yeah.
said Jeff George.
Yeah. Well, the Miami Dolphins
Damn.
wide receiver Tyreek Hill's wrist will be cleared to start catching passes until August.
Bro, he's just been catching them one-handed ever since, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
Well, I asked
Tyreek Hill is going to be like the greatest value or like the worst like waste of a pick this year. Because no matter where we're getting him hella late. And if he just does like especially if you have him in a territory where he's a flex option for you, where it's like, okay, you're not banking on him to, you know what I mean, to have this, you're playing him for that blow up game versus
Who you
like
talking about, bro?
playing when you have this floor and a blow up.
Who you talking about?
Tyreek,
Oh,
the freak.
hey, Banks.
I heard his dad's name is George Hill.
Hey, Banks said laughing my ass off. Minus points for Lee made me fucking laugh out loud.
Yeah.
And Lee got mad. Oh, I'm like, he got mad at taking fictional points away in the made-up game, the George game.
Fuck, bro.
Hey, no one's beating Banks in the George game. He been
keeping that shit lit.
Well, I don't know if Crooked's still in the house, but I got some.
What up, Crick?
Well,
I forgot to shout him out earlier.
Bears rookie first-round tight end Colson Loveland shoulder could be getting closer to return after having shoulder surgery.
Let's go.
Now,
He should
also,
be
I got some Chicago Bears wide receiver Roma Dunze believes he's going to take a major step forward in his second professional season.
Let's fucking go. He got my text.
Let's go.
Now, as for Chicago
I told him,
Bears rookie wide receiver,
tell him this. Tell him you're gonna be that guy in year 2.
Oh, Bogey, I got a favor for you then. You go. I need you to ask Dunze to send me DeAndre Swift number so I can also put the word in, bro.
Okay. Hey, you know what? I got some thoughts here on Swift, bro. Like that's another one. Like he could be like, you know, like this year's he could be this year's Chuba Hubbard, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, in
Because of where we're drafting
2022, he's seen 70 targets from Ben Johnson as the
that's
OC.
true. Well,
70 targets. Yep.
Well, Chicago Bears rookie wide receiver Luther Verdon, undisclosed, is still missing from offseason practices this week due to an undisclosed soft tissue injury. It's unclear exactly what Verdon is dealing with and how long he will be out for.
Get the fuck out of here, dog.
If they're saying it's his second,
This one scares me because
it's his
naturally
second-
I want to go and trade for him everywhere
it's his
now.
second soft tissue injuries he's had so far.
Get the fuck out of here. Why
No,
you hurting
this is
my
second.
feelings with that?
Hey,
I'm not
y'all
gonna
remember
hurt
the
anyone's
legend of
feelings,
John
man.
Ross?
Damn, dog. What'd you say, Bo? My bad.
You remember the legend of John Ross?
Oh yeah. If he would have wore Adidas when he broke the record, they would have bought him an island.
Now
right?
I know you both.
This guy, he broke the record, and he broke the record, and fucked his hamstring up doing it, and he didn't wear the right shoes, so he didn't get the island. But then he still gets drafted in the first round of the Bengals, and then like he just can't get over this hammy. He just keeps returning, and it fucked him up for like the first couple years of his career, until maybe the first two, because then. Once Zach Taylor got there, he had a nice little run for like 4 or 5 weeks. So that was the 2018 year. So yeah, so it's probably like year 3 for John Ross at that point. But yeah, those speedsters that like it's if you got a soft tissue thing, bro, you can't be what they need you to be.
They miss facts. Hey, Swift had a 15.1% target share in that 2022 season where he had 70 targets.
And normally league average targeting the running back position usually hovers around 12%. So that's above league average right there. And we're gonna get this is a system.
He was sixth in target share. He was 6th in target share that year and 10th in targets.
So what we can count on him, I think, is if he continues where he left off, all the other running backs are benchmark.
I mean, because look at Roschon Johnson, can never stay healthy.
Right,
that's true.
They haven't really shown anything to warrant playing time over Swift if he's healthy and he's not winded. Like I don't think that the Bears are gonna all of a sudden not run the ball. They're gonna have to develop the run to make Caleb a proficient passer. There's no getting around it. But yeah, I like Swift while he's in a system that utilizes him as a 3-down back and he can stay healthy for fantasy. That's great because you're getting him at a cheap price.
He might be this year's cheap.
And if you can walk away with Swift after draft, you're probably not kicking yourself in the butt with who's around him, who you didn't choose. With the idea that I'm taking my 3rd running back, that's probably where I would sit. I was like, this guy's got to be
Chuba or Swift.
I'm not comfortable with Swift as an RB2, so to say.
How about this? You're looking at your 3rd RB, Chuba or Swift.
Maybe Chuba because he's had 270 and then last year he hit for 300 plus touches.
Yeah.
I mean, combined touches.
I didn't know he
has all the volume. I just don't know if Swift is going to be able to carry 250 times and still catch the ball 50 times. Pause.
Hell yeah, there you go. That's the big number right there. So when you add in those catches, you're talking an RB1 finish, like
100%, and that's what Chuba had the Chuba had the volume to do that last year.
Yeah, he didn't have the tuggies, but imagine if their offense is better now too. You know what I mean?
Them is facts. Minnesota Den said George Washington. Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Remember the legend of SK 2Y Moore?
Yeah.
That didn't last.
The legendary. I wanted him to be a thing so much that I just totally overlooked Rice altogether that next year. I was like, why would they get this other guy? They're really because they were, you know what it is? They hella loved Sky Moore too. And then but they never showed it on the field by not.
Yeah, they took him in the 2nd round, I think.
He is what we call a dust buster.
Yeah, he sucked.
We got Peacock in the building, top of the morning, big bro.
What's up, big guy?
He said, "What's
I
up?"
remember Kiddo was the one who was always like, "You're on the wrong double letters, not 2 wides, double E."
Come on now,
as in Rashee Rice. You know what I mean?
Rashi.
Yeah, but he was like, bro. He was like, this was Kiddo's take back then. He was like, just look at Rashee Rice. He's just a good football player. It was just
we
like
are kind of high on Rice-A-Roni this year.
He was like, Skywalker's terrible.
Oh, about Baba.
Guy Moore just doesn't have the, I guess, the athleticism to win at the line of scrimmage.
I think he was a 4.3 runner. That was probably
not fast.
and he had like these giant
athleticism.
hands with long arms, so like
Yeah,
his
he's gonna
contested
get
catch would look crazy on film and shit.
Yeah,
Well,
But then he had bad hands in the NFL.
bad hands.
Yeah, well,
He had these awesome big old giant hand, flapjack hands that could catch the ball in college.
Peacock
well-
said, "What up, bros? I'm stuck in these drug driving video depositions today. Motherfuckers better learn how to take that Uber, man."
I know,
salute
right?
to Peacock.
Yeah, man, shout out to our guy Peacock.
I tend to believe that.
Peacock.com. I think we got a sale going on still, right?
No, I don't believe so, but there's one coming up, he
There
said.
is. Or
Well,
I think it might have ended and it's coming. There's
yeah.
another sale to be looking out for in the Father's Day or something like that. I forgot what he said.
Yeah, well, Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Ladd McConkey dealt with multiple injuries last season. McConkey is focusing on the art of falling down in order to protect himself from more injuries.
Yeah, I guess it's an art. But who doesn't play through injuries? I don't know how big of a deal this really is. I'm not putting any discount on Ladd McConkey just because he was hurt for a few games last year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work on being able to run such a tight, precise route that like we could like shake somebody in a phone booth. You know what I mean? Like, let's do that. And then you don't have to worry about falling.
Well, as for free agents out there and the rumors that are floating around, the Falcons' Kyle Pitts has been linked to the Steelers, Chargers, and the Jaguars.
What?
And Jalen Ramsey has been
Why are the
rumored
Jaguars on that
What?
list?
and Jalen
He's like, the
Ramsey
Jags out. You come on, give me the money.
and Ramsey is rumored to be the Rams, Steelers, and Rams, Steelers, and Chargers.
What player?
For who?
Jalen Ramsey.
Oh,
And then the Bengals are going to be releasing Jermaine Pratt, linebacker Jermaine Pratt, and the Texans worked out cornerback Damian Arnett on Monday.
Okay, pause real quick.
Arnett is.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I
And
think
the
Arnett is the one that the Raiders cut. He was a first round pick.
Yeah.
I think that was the motherfucker that had them guns. He was telling the kid, he showed the guns on Instagram or some
Instagram
shit
Live,
like that. Yeah.
Damn.
And the last piece of news I have is the Bills are signing former Panthers star linebacker Shaq Thompson to a 1-year deal.
Sacramento, stand up.
Let's go. Okay,
So where's Pratt going?
Yeah, Pratt. I was gonna go to that.
Pratt?
He's a free agent, but
So where do we like him to go for our?
he might. The Niners might look at him.
We would like that. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he
like
would
for
like
reality,
that.
I would like that.
Getting to
Fantasy and hate it.
the Bay and playing for a winning franchise and just Cincinnati's got to suck ass, dude.
Yeah. What about our man Darius, the Dark Knight? Let's go.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight of Cincy.
Muaso, it's still interesting that we've got Micah McFadden.
Oh, you're on Muwasa. No, I'm talking about Darius Knight, the Dark Knight.
Seattle Darius Knight. I thought
No. My bad. I think I'm saying his wrong first name.
Demetrius. I think it's Demetrius
Knight.
Knight.
There it is. Dimitri Knight.
And then you were saying like Batman shit, and I was like, oh yeah, well,
Yeah, you went right to Gotham City, New York. Yeah, I get it. I figured it out real quick. Like, he's on Muwasa. Yeah, because they brought back McFadden. That sucks for Muwasa. But like, yeah, I like Demetrius Knight a fuck ton now. Because like, you know what I'm saying? He has the capital, and now he's literally should be a walk-on. Like he should be just this is his job now. It's him.
He has to be that guy and do a good job because last year's if he's gonna be last year's version of Trent Simpson, that's gonna be a big disappointment because he was a guy that was supposed to sit there next to Roquan and really rack up a bunch of fucking.
He's supposed to be the queen replacement.
He didn't do shit. He was not a queen at all.
And they drafted another guy, Butchman, but like he's more MLB than anything. So that's why I'm like, okay, so maybe Trenton Simpson still has a shot here. He couldn't beat out Kyle Van Noy. Basically, was the other guy
But he was a stud. That guy was racking up sacks anytime he was on the field. It seemed like he was getting to the quarterback. He didn't play the full set of defensive plays, but he was out there and being productive. Man, so Jermaine Pratt. I know Diane Henley. What is the injury status on Diane Henley?
Didn't he get like something surgically repaired over the offseason? I think that's what it is.
Hey, Bogey, I'm in that draft. Travis Hunter's available too.
What happened?
That draft that you said Henderson, pick Henderson. Travis Hunter's also available.
But is it an IDP?
No, it's not. It's just offense.
Then take Henderson.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear it a bunch of times this year. As long as Travis Hunter has this dual eligibility, he's a damn cheat code for your IDP league. Everywhere else,
in offense only, I'm not really fucking with it. Like maybe it's a cool flex here and there, unless right. Like we get. I mean, touchdown should count no matter how he gets it. So say if he gets a pick six, you should get it. But in the team defense league, you're probably not gonna. They're not gonna give you the yards for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you compare him to your IDP, it's almost like you're guaranteeing a turnover from him every week. If you start him as a DB, if you're looking to give him the wide receiver role, and I know that he grades out pretty well in this rookie class, and
he can catch a slant like nobody's business.
He could very well be the best. Maybe he's not. I don't know, but he has dual eligibility, and as long as he has dual eligibility in IDP leagues, he is he's as close as a cheat code as he can get. I want to say it's equivalent to having an elite defensive back and giving them almost a guaranteed turnover, whether it be an interception or a forced fumble recovery, something equivalent to that. That's what his receiving value is. So if he does have an interception and he is getting 6-7 tackles, and then he does catch 5 for 68 and no touchdowns, that's 68 yards and 5 catches. That's as good as that's way better than an interception. It's an interception. Yeah.
We got Nick in the. Oh, my bad, big bro.
Nah. I'm just really excited. I realize that Hunter, for the long term, say 3 or 4 years go by, and the team decides, and he personally makes the decision to say, hey, I'm going to try and be the best receiver as possible, or I'm going to try and be the best cornerback as possible, and just stick to the one. I can 100% see that. But in the meantime, I'm getting active with this in the IDP leagues. I'm trying to see how this works out.
Yeah, shout out to Nick.
Yeah, we got Nick in the building. It looks like he's a first timer around here. We appreciate you for pulling up on us this morning, big bro. And wherever you found us at, please, we'll appreciate you if you like and subscribe, man. 100%. Nick said, "Hey guys, how's it going? It's my first time ever in Dynasty draft. Could use your advice. Go ahead and drop it in the chat, big bro. 100%. Peacock said, facts, man. We in drafts right now too, big bro. 100%. We've been drafting since probably like fucking after the Super Bowl on everything.
Yeah, there's a certain way that the dynasty leagues start to kind of like get the vibe with the fantasy leagues when you're setting your lineup at the beginning of the week and you're trying to decide. Oftentimes, I always find myself going to my dynasty teams first. There's something about dynasty leagues where you're invested, so you start to care a little bit more. You start to take a little bit more pride in managing. So instead of just going with projections, you might be well aware of the last 24 games that this player has had, and you're not letting nobody outside of your own opinion to tell you whether or not to start this guy, because that's how involved you can get with these dynasty teams.
Yep.
You have a lot of players on your bench, and every week when you look at that bench and there's some guy scoring 40, best believe they're gonna get on that fucking starting roster pretty soon.
Yeah, them is facts, bro, on everything. You know,
Yeah.
that dynasty shit don't sleep. You know, after the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? You start planning for the fucking next season. You know what I mean? It's right around the corner, the combine right there. Then you got at the end of April the fucking draft, you know what I mean? And we didn't fire. Well, I've been a part of 4 of our dynasty startups, and then some of my other homies sent me another invite to a startup. So I did 5 startups this year, and shout out to all my motherfucking league mates, because that dynasty life don't sleep on my mama. You can get shit cracking whenever you want to.
And if you ever find yourself scouring your league mates rosters and finding who you want on their team and what you can offer them in return, Dynasty is where it's at. Dynasty is the best way to get an idea of what trade markets really are, because the long-term value of these players, although we do kind of see it as a big deal, we don't downgrade guys like Derrick Henry in season. So once we get going, even though we're playing on a dynasty team and we got a guy like Derrick Henry, we're not telling you to get off of Derrick Henry for anything less than like 2 firsts and a guy that you could start in a flex. You know, that's the other side of dynasty that you're gonna probably become very familiar with, is that trade picks matter. And so if you can trade away picks and get players, that might be an ideal route for you. Some other managers, they like to get picks for players wherever their team is at, and I like to do both.
Facts.
I like obtaining first rounders and second rounders and holding on to those pieces. And if I have a fucking a wild card, a joker, or a queen, you know, at the trade deadline, and I can swing a big deal for a player that could, you know, let me coast through the playoffs and get us championship this season, and you know, to go back to the drawing board elsewhere for an elite talent. But you know, the idea to me is still winning. And some dynasty managers, this is my advice, don't buy into the dynasty thing. You know, dynasty to me just means I'm coming back next year. I'm not trying to just have okay, in the future I want to be able to say I won 3 years in a row. That's not. I'm not
a real dynasty.
I'm not trying to think that far ahead, though. I want to win now. So my idea is that if I'm playing fantasy football and then I come to the point where I realize that my team is not competitive, then I go into the rebuild mode, just like how real organizations treat their teams. You know, start selling off some talent and getting some picks or whatever out of them in return before you lose out on the ability to get anything from them, right?
And you know what the key to that is too, big bro? Is being in a league that's not gonna crumble or fall. You know what I mean? 100%. Make sure you got you a good solid core of league mates. That way it ain't gonna be too much overturn. You know what I mean?
Hang out with us. We got a lot.
Come to fruition and all that shit. You know what I mean? Because dynasty is where the fuck it's at. Them is facts.
Yeah.
Bro. No matter if
you want to read that off, JD?
We got a crypto community of dynasty
you can read it, Lee.
followers.
All right. Nick says, I'm in a 2 QB full PPR league. No tight end premium. My team is Burrow, Genty, Caleb, Hunter, Zay Flowers, Odunze, and Waddle. He's on the clock, and who should I grab? Montgomery, Pacheco, Scattaboo, Judy, Burden, Ayuk, Devontae Adams, or Cortland Sutton, Loveland, or Kincaid. And it's not tight end premium.
I'm gonna go. Fucking Devontae Adams.
That's what I was
Just like how
I
Kidda
think he's
was
going to
saying,
feed
if
in
we
that
want to
offense.
win now, we're taking Adams. You're good at the you got Genty and fucking that's your only running back is
Genty, Caleb.
Yeah, but I mean Pacheco, we don't know if he's gonna bounce back. Scatterbull's is a hot name.
See, because when I heard the names, I thought Caleb Johnson as the RB2, and I was like, okay,
No,
I'm okay with that.
Unless that's Caleb. Sorry, it's Caleb. Yeah, it's Caleb W. So it's Caleb Williams, his second quarterback.
Oh, it's a super flex.
Yeah, super flex.
Yeah. I still want to get a player that's gonna get me in that top tier. So to me, I think Adams was the logical thing, but then I also thought a little bit about Jerry Jeudy, to be honest. That team sucks, and he's back for more.
I know, right?
That's
more poison.
He's a season veteran of the sorriness. So this guy, if he, to me, like anybody that can get it done in that type of environment deserves a lot of credit. You know what I mean? So I like Jerry Jeudy too. But Devontae Adams to me is the safest way to build a championship roster.
Caliber, exactly.
Yeah, he could wait on running. He said he need another running back. Don't draft for need, draft for the best player available, big bro. And one thing about Devontae Adams, like I'm doing some homework for my next solo video, it's 162 vacated targets over there, bro. And it's only Tutu Atwell and fucking Jordan Winnington and Trey Ferguson in the second round. I ain't saying that all 164 targets is going to Devontae Adams, but he just hit for 140 in New York, and he was the WR11, bro. You got Stafford over there now. And one thing about Puka and Cup last year, they both missed 5 games, and he started off pretty slow, and he almost threw for 4,000 out last year. Now, if we get Devontae Adams, who plays damn near all his games, if we could get Puka to play or start the season from the beginning of the season all the way through, we might get Stafford booming. And so I think that Devontae Adams is, man, he gonna be a high recipient of them vacated targets 100% and do a lot of damage with them targets, especially in the fucking red zone where Stafford is mid in the red zone, attempts in the red zone, red zone completion percentage, fucking mid, bro, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not bashful with the Rams being a fantasy asset. If you have the next man up and it's a McVay weapon, like your position is something that's going to be actively gaining chunk plays and touchdowns, it's gonna happen. And they're lucky they got so many good names right now, and they've had good names. Like we're replacing Cooper Kupp with Devontae Adams. That's a lateral move, really.
That's crazy.
But could be even a plus move in terms of wins, because I think Devontae Adams over there in LA, he's gonna like living in LA and playing for the Rams. And
he's a California kid.
Yeah, I mean the city is gonna be probably something that him and his family are gonna get used to relatively quickly. You know, it's fun.
Oh my mama. Hey Nick, Bogey said, is Jameson Williams available? And then he said Devontae Adams is going to fall further.
Maybe not so much in redraft, but we are talking dynasty, and yeah, that is a true story. We could potentially see Devontae Adams in your dynasty startup, maybe around 10. I would doubt it, but that could be definitely like the worst case scenario for your league mates that don't draft him, because you're gonna get this guy at a tremendous discount just because he's old. It's not like he hasn't played well. This is the his birthday is his problem. That's a pretty good problem, I guess.
They said, are the Titans getting close to your neighborhood?
Yeah, they were. I left to work. They were still doing their thing. It wasn't out of control, but I think they were doing shit till 2:30. My girlfriend, she told me that she could hear stuff about till then. It was fireworks, just loud noises,
There's some crazy shit going on, man.
sirens, all that stuff. This community, the Santa Ana, where I live, it's a smaller community in terms of Southern California. It gets outshined in terms of like other communities. It doesn't really have too many crazy things to make it special. The neighbor of Anaheim, Anaheim has Disneyland. But other than that, all the cool stuff is in LA, and then we have cool beaches or whatever. But this community, these Chicanos, they love America. I could tell you that much. And they're not gonna leave for like without the fight. That's for sure. Like whatever idea they thought that they could implement and then just follow through with it, and everybody would just go with it. If they didn't foresee this type of backlash, then they weren't paying attention hard enough, because the first week, I think, when Trump got elected, and I think they started doing some protests, peaceful protests, or quote unquote, I don't know. It's hard to group tens of thousands, individuals, and not have somebody in the bunch that wants to take it to another level. So the vandalism and the trying to shoplift and all that stuff, that's not the point of it. It never is. But yeah, it's gonna go on, because the original idea was on Flag Day all this stuff would go down, but they just couldn't handle it anymore, because these ICE raids were happening in workplace. So homies were going to work, doing a job, and a lot of people don't realize it, but illegal or not, when they're employed, a portion of their earnings is going to Social Security and Medicaid. So the stuff that they can't take any of that stuff. There's no benefits available for them because they're illegal. And when they get legal status, then all that stuff becomes available for them. But that's a lot of money that's going to the wayside. I think I brought it up in another episode, how much money they actually bring in on an annual. I went back a few years, and they ended up probably bringing in close to like $1 billion some odd dollars in tax revenue, and that's strictly going to taxpayers, legal citizen taxpayers. So the benefits are going back to people who basically are reaping the benefits of the illegals, because they can't reap it themselves. And it's a mess. I think all this stuff is going to get drawn out too, unfortunately.
No, it really is, bro. 100%, especially like Like how you said they're raiding the workplace. So you thinking you going to work to go ahead and go fulfill your duties, and at the end of the day go home 100%. So say like even if they are illegals and they getting checks, they can't accept their benefits. What if they are paying into the tax system? 100%. You know what I mean? What if they are productive citizens of this state, which is a sanctuary state? 100%. You know what I mean? What if they are the ones that are, helping further the fucking community in the whole state of the California, you know what I mean, just by being regular motherfuckers. Now the other ones that's undocumented, just out here free for all, and you can't, you know what I mean, I understand that 100%, but you still got to go through the due process. You just can't throw somebody on there and just send them back, because like we did a story where there's I want to say it was in Ohio or somewhere in the Midwest, where they're renting out beds in the county jail to hold ICE detainees. You feel me? So it's like you're doing all these raids and all that, but you can't even get the people to where they need to be and get them processed if they got to go back, or give them a chance to go ahead and get their paperwork legitly, especially if they doing legit things in this motherfucker though. You feel me? That's the only thing that's fucked up, because if you a sanctuary state and motherfuckers then came, it's like, okay, well the governor said it's good for me to be here, bro. 100%. You know, I'm seeking refuge from a third world country. You feel me? But now this motherfucker done gotten off,
but it's federal.
His authority supersedes the state shit. But like, you know what I mean? We got to find some type of balance, because, you know what I mean, some of this shit, motherfuckers is causing ruckus in this motherfucker, and we can't have that. But yet, we need productive citizens in this motherfucker to continue.
You know what's crazy, JD? We didn't cover it all, and it's all kind of tied together in Bogey's conspiracy theory, right? So look at this. Like, they already done fucked up. California made the governor look all hella bad. Even he already made himself look bad, but with the fires and everything and all the shit, and just the homeless, just generally, California hasn't been the greatest. Even though we're like economically, we're supposed to be one of the powerhouses, right?
Number four economy in the world.
Shit like that. Things that are draws to money and things that massively help our economy in California. But then there's also, they come in federally and they're like, all right, doing shit that the governor can't stop, right? And then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you're gonna get rid of all the immigrants, and they're like, oh, who's gonna do a lot of those jobs? Because and then it's not just to be stereotypical or try to stereotype anybody. And when I say this, but like, a lot of those jobs that work, the agricultural jobs that we have in California, a lot of them are immigrants and migrants. I guess that's the better term, right? But see, here's the thing. They already got it set up, because what are they going to replace them with? The motherfucking farming robot things, bro. Remember that shit?
Right. We just did that a couple of days ago.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it's like they got this plan that they're trying to enact really fucking fast. And yeah, and with Trump, nothing goes without vibrato or a bravado. That's the word I go. You know what I mean? He over there flexing. Man, shout out to our man Smokey. He was just in the chat earlier. I hit him. I was like, shit, did they send your little man out there? Because his little man's stationed in down there in SoCal. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And he's like, nah, he wasn't one of the ones that got sent. But yeah, they were sending Marines out to this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Like, even if they're just there to just stand and flex, like, look, boom, you know what I mean? We don't fuck with us, you know what I mean? 100%. It's just crazy that they're going to these lengths. And like Kid has said, because I was listening to the stream when I was getting the kids' little lunch together, they Kid nailed it. It's not gonna go. It's just not gonna go away like real quick. This is gonna be like a long-lasting, drawn-out thing.
100%, because you sending motherfuckers loved one back that they can't see again. 100%, and this motherfucker's a productive citizen since he or she done been here. Now you're gonna take me away from my kids, my grandkids, my auntie, my uncle, all
your whole family came over. You've been here since you was 7. They sent your ass back. You don't know nothing over here.
You didn't did your whole high school, man. You
Spanish. You don't remember Spanish or whatever country you're from. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
It's sending you back home. It's not even your home.
Oh my mama, that shit crazy, bro. Oh, everything. Shout out to Nick once again for pulling up on us and
shout out to
locking in
Nick.
with us. Oh, my mama. Nick said, love the input. Locked in Adams. Thanks for the input. Jamo is gone, unfortunately. He's older, and my only concern is how many years you guys think until the wheels fall off on Devontae?
I think he's got two good
seasons,
years.
this one and next.
And it's the perfect spot where he's at.
It's a win now. That's a win now move. I felt like I know everyone thinks Ayuk's gross, but Ayuk will probably still fall back, and I'll still double back on. I'm always gonna go receiver over than the running backs, especially if the older guys keep falling. I'm okay waiting and getting like the James Connors and the Camaras of the world, or even if I don't wait that long and I take the Chuba Hubbards and the Joe Mixons and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Like I'm okay doing shit like that. But but when you're doing stuff like that, you make sure your receivers are hefty. That means and those receivers they tend to go earlier in a dynasty because their shelf life is longer. Not to mention he's in a 2 QB. I also have one of the bogey rules of thumb. When all else fails, go QB in a super flex dynasty or a 2 QB dynasty. You know what I mean?
So Peacock said there will always be rookies, but there's only one Devontae Adams.
Exactly.
And then Bake said, I heard they were posting ads on Craigslist recruiting badass, strong-minded individuals to fight. Shit's crazy. I saw videos of people tearing up the sidewalk into pieces to throw it at cops. Whoa.
Wow.
See, that's wild. So the public is trying to put like these little militia groups go up.
This could be the government sending motherfuckers out there to incite.
That's what it is. You got to remember.
Remember the motherfuckers that show up to the protest. Piles of bricks are waiting.
Oh my mama, starting fights and then walk away.
Well, now that we have these bricks here.
Yeah, that was during the George Floyd shit. During the George Floyd riots, you'll see these motherfuckers all masked up and shit, starting the riot, and then they'll just smooth walk off, bro. 100%. On my mama. And then another thing too is
Panthers,
huh?
The Black Panthers, when they were fearing they were getting too powerful in different chapters, they started infiltrating. You know what I mean? Sending motherfuckers in there that would play the long game. You know what I mean?
And then the intelligence community, the DOD, the CIA, and the FBI, them motherfuckers don't even share intelligence. They gang banging against each other. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, the misinformation is part of it too. Like fuck it, tell him this. Tell him it was tell him Fred did it. Just make up a name.
Cold world.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. You definitely have a right to peaceful protest. And last night I took a good half hour and I watched some of these like YouTubers that were live at like 3 o'clock.
Okay, on site.
And they were still there or whatever. And for the most part, everything seemed to be reacting accordingly. Nothing egregious. But that's just one area.
I mean, don't let people start getting hurt. People start getting hurt, they're pulling the guns out. And then they got the military there, and then it's gonna be like a massacre.
It's a video. I didn't watch the video, but it's a lady that's reporting. She got hit by one of the rubber bullets.
Oh yeah,
they also caught
that was more of an intimidation move. If it did deflect and hit her, and I'm sure it hurt or whatever. But the ammunition that they're using is definitely non-lethal. It is irritating to get hit, and sometimes you can get injured, like, lacerations or whatever, but I don't think anything internally is going to get fucked up unless you get hit in the eye. So this lady, she had there was no reason to shoot her other than the fact that you wanted to play authority and show authority through. I think like with one of the politicians, it could have been Trump himself. I'm not too sure, but I think they said do something with like power or something, like, you know what I mean? Like they said something along the lines of fight peace with aggression or power or something something weird. You know, it's like the opposite of being peaceful. They were like saying, nah, yeah, if you want to be peaceful, you actually have to do it this way.
Everything.
And I'm like, wait, what? I don't understand that.
Peacock said these protesters are always near a construction site with tons of loose rubble conveniently lying around.
Well,
Did you see that guy that was throwing
when
the
you
rocks
get into a
at
big
the
metropolitan area, you're gonna have most of these places that we live in. They're getting up there in age and relative to the actual the infrastructure that was applied to when these cities were originally built. They might have been shoddy. Like some of the stuff on the East Coast is still standing, and it will be standing well into the future. More so than a lot of obviously Midwest. Like there's a chance that the world is gonna fuck you up. You know, over there in the East Coast, it's just like age and literal like rodents and just the world, the environment. It could really degrade a building quickly if it's unoccupied and nobody's taking care of it. Man, they go quick. It's amazing how fast they go quick. But they're the houses, they're they're definitely susceptible to the environment.
Minnesota Den said, my stepson had cancer during the George Floyd riots. We had military posted up outside of the children's hospital. Shit was crazy. The city was getting burnt up all around us. Damn. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's they kind of did the same thing over the last few days, burning cars and trying to do small stuff. Nothing egregious, not so far anyways.
I don't know if I trade Burrow, man. Ooh.
I mean, I haven't really heard anything. I think with the communities, there might be a bunch of people around that don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? So like the own community, they're stepping in and preventing the rioters from basically damaging property. They've been through it so many times before. They're sick of it. They're like, no, I ain't gonna fucking work hard to rebuild everything when all I gotta do is put a little extra effort to protect my property.
JD, what do you think of that trade there?
Talk about it. Go ahead, read
it. Nick goes, what do you think of this trade? I'm trading Burrow, Zay Flowers, and a 2026 second for Brock Purdy, Isaiah Pacheco, Nico Collins, a 2026 and a 2027 first.
Yeah, I'm not doing that as well.
I like Burrow too much, man.
Yeah, don't do that, Nick.
Because you never know what those 26 and 27 first are gonna be, you know.
And I don't know if Purdy's ever gonna throw for 5,000. That's the thing right there. 40 TDs. You know what I mean? You trading away the best player in this package right here. 100%. Nico.
I stick with Burrow. I'm being honest.
We don't know what we getting out of Pacheco if he's bounced back and ready to go. 100%. Nico, you know, he gets banged up every now and then, even though the fucking potential is there 100%. And only to net Nico really in some picks. For Burrow, I can't do it, big bro.
No.
So what I would try to do is somehow develop a package to where you can trade Zay Flowers and get Nico Collins. Now keep in mind you might have to give up Zay Flowers and that 26 second to get Nico Collins, but I think that might be a move that I would be interested in. That might be like the end game too. So work your way up to trading for Nico Collins, keeping Burrow, trading Zay Flowers, and then obtaining Nico Collins. That's the real move.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that because by you trading away Burrow, you're gonna have Purdy and Caleb Williams, which even out each other. So and Burrow is gonna have 40 and 50-point game. Well, he might not have multiple 50-point games, but he's gonna hit for some 40s
real quick.
He's going to hit some
100%. So I don't want to get rid of Burrow to have just Caleb and Purdy on my team, bro.
Caleb's the one I'm flipping.
I ain't mad at that.
Brock's got a contract. He's safe for dynasty purposes. Joe Burrow is the GOAT to me in dynasty.
And we don't know what Caleb will going to get.
And then Caleb Williams, he still has to save an entire franchise still. So
yeah, you don't have to trade with him, Nick, if he's sending you an offer. Don't do it just because his the Bengals is his team in a 2-quarterback league. Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback, bro.
I've encountered that plenty of times. I go, oh, it's my he's you know I'm a Bengals fan, bro. Like, oh no, I don't care.
I can say that I'm a Chargers homer.
Hey, Nick, you a person gonna have to pay up a whole lot in a 2-quarterback league to get Burrow, bro. Like I said,
you don't give up years of dominance for no reason.
100%, bro.
Hey, anytime I give up a player, I gotta go, hey man, you better love him more than I do. You know what I mean? Like if it's one of my studs, you better love them more than I do.
Hey,
otherwise,
JD,
I'm not even gonna budge.
You and I Blockbuster?
No, what happened?
Nice guys?
It was a
I ain't into nice guys.
Don't call that a blockbuster. It was a wannabe blockbuster. I looked at this guy's defense and I'm like, man, you need an entire upgrade at like just startable guys. And then I went in with the Najee angle. He locked down his Chargers backfield, and I got out of there with Isaiah Pacheco and Shipley
and Roquan.
And Roquan.
And
I gave him Quay Walker and a bunch of shit.
Yeah,
patented bogey style.
Nick said, "I'm trying to make him overpay. Do you think he's untouchable then, or what? Or what would it have to be in order to get Joe Burrow off of him?"
Oh, he's trying to get Joe Burrow.
No, he's trying to trade away Joe Burrow. So the other guy's trying to get him. So what would it take for the other guy to get Joe Burrow?
How about this, Nick? Put it in the chat. What's like his starting lineup look like? Because that's what we're gonna. If anyone wants a Joe Burrow off me, I'm attacking the shit out of their starting lineup, and I might even require a QB in return. We don't just leave us with 2 QBs and give you the best one that I got.
Two mid quarterbacks in fantasy purposes at that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my mama, we got Song in the building. What's up, Song?
What's up, Song? Top of the morning,
gang. Yeah, Nick, let us know what your
good luck, Song. Good luck on that test.
He said he at the clinic right now.
Okay, word.
Oh my mama. Yeah, Nick, let us know what your league mate that you trying to cook that trade up. Let us know what he got up on his roster, bro. Because bro trying to upgrade at the quarterback for sure. So he must got 2 boo-boo quarterbacks, mid-tier quarterbacks. 100%. He trying to go for the gusto on you, bro. Oh my mama.
Yeah, we're not gonna allow that. Because his team definitely need upgrade though. He can still but this is the thing too. If that person on the other side, this guy comes back with us and he has shitty ass QBs, we got the leverage. We don't just give him the best one.
He got Bo Nix and Caleb Williams as his quarterbacks.
Well, I go Bo Nix.
He got Bo Nix and Caleb as his quarterbacks, and he got Henry and Kamara on the team. Then he he got Jamar Chase, Nico, Olave, Purdy, and Pacheco. Bro, trying to go for the motherfucking stack. His double up, bro, and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. You can't let that happen, big bro.
No.
So
talk about it, kid.
That guy doesn't even have. It starts with Bo Nix, but then what else do we add? All these old guys, like he didn't even
talk
have,
about it, kid.
He can't even afford Joe Burrow right now.
So I'm immediately.
You know what that guy can't afford? He can afford a Caleb.
Without even looking at rosters, I like to think about, okay, what are these values worth? And since it's dynasty, it's relevant. Not saying that this is the Mendo, like the way I
choose this guy's going.
But over there. In conversations without knowing both rosters, what I'm thinking of is Joe Burrow at the moment is in a super flex that
or
that
two
gives
QBs in this case.
I can't remember if you told us if it's a 4-point or 6-point per passing touchdown, but if it's a 6-point passing touchdown too on
Talk
top of
about it,
it,
bro.
Yeah, come on.
And he says
you have to get back a minimum, in my opinion, 5 first, and what you're going to start off with is 6. So if you talk about the 2 first, that's just them, right? And then Nico Collins, how many firsts is he worth? Is it 1? Just 1?
Yeah, it's
3?
one.
that's all I would give up for Nico as a
for Nico,
first.
You're gonna have to ask for 2 more players that can equal.
I need Bo Nix.
Two
Bo
first.
Nix is like 2
Or-
first right there.
How
Yeah,
many
Bo
players
Nix,
it takes to get 2
yeah.
first?
I need Bo Nix, Nico, and then give me. Listen, okay,
Bo Nix,
even for me to
Nico.
consider this, I need Bo Nix,
2 firsts.
Nico. I need Bo Nix, Nico, and I want both them old timer
2
running backs.
firsts.
You got fucking throw them in there.
And the 2 firsts.
And the 2 firsts. And then now we're talking here. Because if not, the consolation prize is I stay with Joe Burrow.
100%, bro. On my
Like, you're
mama,
gonna have
there's
to
no
really
way.
pay me to get me
There's
off
no
my guy,
way you
'cause I
can you
got my guy.
cannot tax. There's no way you cannot tax, bruh, and allow him to build his stack with the motherfucking Triple Crown winner and somebody that just almost threw for 5 thou out. You know what I mean? And this is what bruh does, 100%. You know what I mean? You have to tax him if you're even thinking about giving them up, 100%.
Facts.
Oh, my mama. You know what I mean? There's no way that I'm finna let bruh attain that.
Yep. Check out Keep Trade.
I'm trying to kill bruh.
There's a website out there that kind of gives dynasty value to players and future picks, and it's free to use to find this stat, and it's at Keep Trade Cut.
Yeah,
and you can go ahead.
A lot of people use this. I don't, but it's a good frame of reference, I will say.
There's a few different
there's
a few different numbers in there that become useful when deciding this player or that player occasionally. It's not a Swiss Army knife for
it ain't the end all be all.
Nah, this ain't it. It's just
I am the alpha and the omega.
It's a neat tool. There's a lot of people that use it, so the numbers do have some sort of weight to it because of the amount of users involved. But go see what the value of a mid-round 26 first round is. And
listen, Nick, don't you trade away Joe Burrow for no bag of fucking noodles. I swear to God.
Okay. Ask for 6 of those.
You already got halfway winning combination just having Joe Burrow already. If
I like that.
It's to be. I need Bo Nix, Nico. Matter of fact, I don't even like. Oh, you want Burrow? I want Chase. It starts there. That's why I hit him off with the fucking upside the head. Oh, you think I'm just gonna let you get the stack? Look, Nick, killers over here. I listen, Nick. You gotta tell him like this. I got Caleb.
It's counterproductive.
Or whatever. You start selling on another QB for Nico, straight up. You know what I mean? Because QBs in a super flex dynasty, or in this case, a 2 QB, these are the rare commodity. You know what I mean? These don't just come up. That's why Kidda even said 5. I need 5. I need something that's worth like 5 years.
I'm selling at 5, and I'm asking for
the next 5 years. You're probably not going to find anyone that replaces Joe Burrow like that. Because the people that have the Josh Allens and even the Mahomes, if he gets back to what we knew and loved Mahomes for, guys like that, no one's coming off those guys like that. Like Joe Burrow's not a guy you should be thinking about coming off. Period.
You need to capitalize on
your other quarterbacks.
Play right now, because 3 seasons ago, I guess it was, there was very little value on Burrow when he got hurt.
Because he was getting hurt.
And he looked like shit coming back. Remember when he looked like dog shit, and everybody was like, Burrow.
Yeah, that year he went to the Super Bowl.
Dude, I was ready to let go of Burrow for like ridiculous cheap. And then I'm glad I didn't. And I actually sold Lamar. I believe it or not,
I'm flipping on Lamar if someone's paying me the world.
And hey, I got some for Nick. Hey, when you do a Keep Trade Cut, do not put early first, early second, early third. Always go mid, like Kid has said, or late, because that's how you're going to be also. That's a negotiate, because we don't know what them picks is going to be. So don't never put in early anything, because that's going to give a higher value. You know,
and when you're trading someone,
this
Joe
is a
Burrow,
negotiation, and you want all the leverage that you can get. So even if it does say that the calculator is you winning the deal, bro, you got Joe Burrow, bro, 100%.
Yeah. So the calculator is only good for a certain setup, and it might not be your personal setup. That's another thing that's not that useful about it. But what is useful about it is like what JD said, research the people that are around that mid-round, late round first. Research those people and put a different type of value on them, long-term value on them. Act as if these guys are real assets that I can work with, and they're already on my flex or starting RB2, whatever it may be. But these are plus positive moves, right? You're not waiting for points to acquire, and you're not being lateral and acquiring points. You're saying, hey, I have these assets that aren't doing anything right now. Let's make them make points for us. Sit there in the flex. This is the bogey special. This is what he does. So he goes ahead and he sells his whole fucking future, but for pieces that are going to help him now. And that's what's important about these teams, is that you have to be somewhat flexible, be kind of thoughtful, mindful about age, but don't let it get to you, because one win way better than 5 losses or 3 seconds. You know what I mean? One win. That's how you play fantasy football, to win.
Win this week.
Go ahead, Peacock.
I'm gonna say win this week is the motto. Win this week.
Well, you play to win the game. Hello.
We go week by week. That is 100%.
Shout out to my dog, man. Herm Edwards.
It can shift real quick, and then all of a sudden you might get the urge to say, hey, I want to go acquire a player or sell a player, whatever it is. But those are the moves that you'll be making on the Dynasty squad. I think we had a few players, or I'm sorry.
Okay, let me ask y'all. Look at some bogey activity.
Few listeners say that they were new to it.
I want to hear you guys take. So it's the next gen. You know, we're a couple months deep in the off season, but it's definitely the first year of the startup. But I'm immediately going to work like how I normally move. But see, they fucked around, and somehow I had two first round picks next year and nothing else. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with this? But I'm running around with a naked Burrow, pause, because I don't have Jake Browning. So I go, oh, look at my old pal Titans has Jake Browning. So I immediately start going down the trade vortex with him, because I just want Jake Browning, and that's where it starts. But then I got Cedric Gray, who I'm really big on, and he's a Titans fan. And Cedric Gray's on the Titans. He immediately goes, I want Cedric Gray. And I'm like, nah, bro, can't do that. Because then I'm like, ooh, because in pure trade negotiations, you're just supposed to naturally be able to do that. Nah, I'm not giving up my guy. I love Cedric Gray. You know what I mean? I love the idea what he could be. He's going to replace Kenneth Murray. And he's like, yeah, and things that he already knows, or like me assumes, right? So then he comes back to me. He goes, I'll give you Jake Browning in a third. I want Resposado, another receiver from.
Of course, he wants that Resposado.
Yes.
Restrepo, for those of you who don't follow us.
The Desperado. It just keeps evolving, you know what I mean? And then and for Cedric Gray, so boom. So now I'm armed with an extra third all of a sudden. I have these 2 first and this third. Excuse me, something was like crawling in my nose, or my allergies or something. Anyways, so now I'm like, ooh, just out of nowhere, I want Nabbers. You know what I mean? And I'm on the phone with Lee. I'm like, I think I want Nabbers. Your boy got him. I bet you I can get Nabbers right now. And then I'm like, I'm gonna throw him Xavier Worthy. And then Lee goes, I think that'll get it done. I go, no. I said 2 firsts. And he's like, oh, that'll get it done. Then by the time I get the courage to go do it, it's 2 firsts and that third, and Xavier Worthy, and I bring back Neighbors. He smashes it immediately. And I go, whoa. And then immediately I get greedy. I go, damn it, I should have just sent them the 1 first and the 3 and Xavier Worthy. I might have been able to net that because he did that so quick. then he messages me. He goes, Keep Trade Cut told me that's a smash. And I was like, damn it. Because Keep Trade Cut would have told him Xavier Worthy and that first and that third would have been enough. Because see, this is where you got to use that shit against people too, is what I'm saying. So now to further the bogey adventures, I'm like, all right, now I got this new Nabbers, and I'm like, let's go flip Nico to right? Because I have all these Nicos, but I'm like, I bet you Nico can get me Romo Dunze and McBride. And this is I just feel strongly about this because I know Titans that he loves some Nico. And then I dressed it up a little bit, and so I ended up ultimately sending Nico, Travis Kelce, and Ivan Pace. And then I brought back Schwarzenegger. That's Carson Schwarzenegger, for those that don't know. McBride and Odunze.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, I'm ready to go to war in that league. Because I just didn't, there something wasn't sitting right with me. I needed to upgrade and then use some of those pieces. Because like that Nico to me was getting me those two pieces. So I'm just getting an extra piece. And that's how I looked at it. Because Travis Kelce, even though I love him, but it's probably just a year. So it's dynasty. So I don't mind skipping out on him now before the year even starts to someone that'll take that. Then I gave up Ivan Pace. I love him, but hey, I'm bringing over Schwarzenegger. And see, that's where it's like Titans, like bravo to him too, because over the years now he knows to shave things down to be more concentrated, and versus like being bamboozled by dressing it up with hella window dressings and things of that nature. And
it sounds like he didn't. It's not like he didn't make out on this trade, right? He got Nico.
I like what both of us.
He's the one that received Nico in this trade.
Yeah, he got Nico, Travis Kelce, and Ivan Pace, and I left with McBride, Odunze. But obviously tight end premium in our leagues, and then the youth kind of dictates how I move. So, but that's how you're supposed to sell an alpha type like Nico.
Well, there's going to be some rejection for McBride in the touchdown category, so that's always good. Because like if you give him just a few more touchdowns, I think that he's like Bowers level. You know what I mean?
I promise you, McBride might not make it to my week 1 roster because someone might give me 2 pieces for McBride. You know what I mean?
I'm a fan of that. I'm not afraid to move off of an elite tight end, even when you do showcase a tight end position.
And then I also wanted McBride because that sounded fun. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't have any McBrides. I'm like, tight end premium. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could always make a move to get acquire another tight end that.
I have Hunter Henry. I'll flip McBride and be like, if I ever need to flex someone, I'll throw Hunter Henry in a tight end premium.
Yeah,
I don't care for.
You know what happens a lot of the times? You get that waiver wire darling, and all of a sudden there's a team out there that's going.
Britton Strange last year.
I could really use those points. And you know what? Fuck tight end, and all of a sudden you bounce
Even
back.
Johnny last year, people were picking him up off some of those dynasty waivers that he's just being cut on. You know what I mean?
Bogart, I would have vetoed that trade because you sent Nico to the Fantasy Reaper.
I know, but see, here's the thing though. I've seen 2 years of him like lay off his killing ways, so I'm okay. But I definitely have all the Nicos, so it's almost like that's how ballsy I am.
Yeah,
I'm like. I send one to kill them all.
This is a Nico panel, and
this is what I do. I somehow circle back around with McBride. I'll dress McBride up and bring back Nico somehow.
He definitely
right back
an injury risk. There's a lot of negative history in that department, but. Yeah, let's not hopefully the future doesn't repeat itself, and that this isn't a.
The good news is he always comes back from those injuries. Like he's never like done for the year. So.
Right, and that is the cool thing that we've come to expect out of Nico is that when he's healthy and starting, he's a must start.
Yep.
But no, Dennis. I don't buy into that Titans. He's not going to kill every single player. You know, it's just not possible.
All right, guys, I gotta head back to my job. I just wanted to tap in because I hadn't been on a show with y'all in a minute. Was missing y'all.
Hey man, hey,
It's
take
wishful
care, man. It was
thinking.
good seeing you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be able to check in for Playmakers when we run that later on this week, and then we'll see how it goes. But y'all continue to have a great show. Appreciate the subscription, Nick. Keep asking questions, and everybody else in the chat as well. We're heating up with all that stuff, and we'll be looking for the 8-pound huddle pretty soon. Not gonna lie to y'all, I got some Texans news. I'm pretty sure you guys talked about it earlier, but getting ready to fire that bad boy up. So be on the lookout for that as well. Have a good day, everybody. Appreciate y'all.
See ya.
Yep. Take care. Yeah, that's a great show. Check it out. We've got the Houston Huddle. Will be coming back. He'll be Peacock will be talking about the squad just about any time it's interesting. So we're in that period of time where we're waiting for something, anything, and this is actually pretty good news for the Texans. I think that there's a lot to like on this offseason of what the team has done to get better, get back into the playoffs, but let's get a little bit stronger in areas where, like the offensive line has been tooled a bit differently, and I think as long as that improvement was check marked when we sit here on week 5 and we say, hey, did we get guys that make this line better? And everybody can say, yeah, everything looks good. Then we can start to feel good about everything else moving forward. But yeah, with them, it's always been a line issue, and good for them for retooling is a way to describe it, because they are weapons that they'll be able to plug and play in a system that is lacking the primary weapons, so to say. So the rookies might get a little bit more action than anticipated, but good for them because I think they're ready for it. CJ Stroud's going to be a bounce back candidate along with the other quarterback of that class, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. They have an opportunity to make some serious noise and maybe give them a little bit of a solid presence. And Big Bolts probably have some sort of respect, especially CJ Stroud. But they'll gain even more if they get back into the playoffs and win some of these games, especially Bryce Young. That'd be a turnaround, like what they do with that whole program with the offense getting retooled and defense. If they continue to keep them in ball games like they did at the end of the season like last year, I think they get some more wins, not just like 1 or 2 or whatever it was. All right. Well, what's happening, Lee?
Not too much, dude. I'm just checking and see if there's anything that's out floating about there. Trevor Lawrence showed up with his arm in a sling. I was just checking that out. I'm trying to see if there's anything to that. What's going on there? Just saying that he's in a sling. That's it.
All right. We got
Not too
Higgins
much.
making plays
Yeah,
on the field in 7-on-7s.
and I saw him making some nasty, good-ass one-handed catch earlier this morning too. Just before we started the show, they were showing highlights of that.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the show, brought up the idea that it's like, hey, if you've got one Nico Collins, and you sit there and you're in the meeting, and you're all thinking, man, what could we use? And then they're like, it's the old thing, It's like, man, if only we had 5 more of him. And they're like, man, if we could have 5 more Nikos. And they're like, well, who's the next guy like that? And you're like, Higgins. Fuck. Why not? I mean, every team has multiple, areas where they could improve. And probably the surprise for me with the Texans, the way that they drafted this year, was going Jaden and Jalen like back to back like that. That was a surprise thing for me. But in hindsight, looking back at it, without them having any on-field stats, it is a logical move for them to get the wide receiver in round 2 and 3. Bucket, if you're going to be good throwing the ball, you can't let an injury hold you back, right? So even though there are no names to other organizations, and maybe the average football fan, it doesn't matter what the name is. But for us who are anticipating players, because we want to draft the right ones, and we commit to paying attention to what's happening, we get all hyped up over the guys that we predict that should be doing well, and then somewhere we put it in the back that's like, oh, okay, but don't forget about these guys. So when they start to make plays, hopefully it's only 1 or 2 plays, and then you can get that jump, and you don't get them when they just had their blow-up game, because we already know how bad that waiver wire. Bogart, what's it called? Living on the what do you call the fucking
living on a prayer?
No, the waiver. The fucking I don't know. You've got some sort of like saying that it reminds me of the WRO, the row.
Oh yeah, the row.
Fantasy
Yeah,
row.
the wide range, the fantasy row.
So
Wide range of emotions.
the number one location for fantasy row for me, anyways, is the waiver wires, and that's fantasy row for me. Is every week trying to pay attention to who's out there that I could potentially.
Because a linebacker that pops up could be like a difference maker. Like in certain, like in need of like fuck, I need a linebacker, or I need like a safety or something, like some third string guy pops out of nowhere because of injuries. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, oh, man, I'm so glad I spent $30 on Fab on this guy. You know what I mean?
You know what's neat?
Like, they're like, what the fuck, you spent $30 on this motherfucker? Like, listen, I need him. I remember Pete Warner that first year, he was just floating around everywhere back in 2021. People weren't even drafting him. And then I started picking him up everywhere. But I was like, putting dub on him, just thinking like, and then, you look at it, there's 0 bids. I'm like, all right, fuck it. It's wasted 20. But, he was balling that first year. I flipped him everywhere. You know what I mean? Just throwing him in package deals. Because now it's like, oh, the sophomore, this, you're going into sophomore year. But then he just fizzled out. So it's like, picking and choosing. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll use those pieces to get me a bigger fish. You know what I mean? Like, you need to dress it up, especially in our league. That's why I kind of get mad when I'm like, God damn it, Titans, he was such a tight, compact fucking trade. Normally I'm like trying to get away with like a bunch of his linebackers or something. And now he's trying to do the same old tricks to me. I'm like, oh, I see you. Trying to do the old bogey to bogey.
So we all play, panel. We all play fantasy football together in real life. And one thing that I find neat, and this is just a personal, thing that I've come to notice every year, is that we all draft a certain way, and then we play week 2 a certain way. So slowly but surely, in the beginning, I'd say the first 5 weeks of that season, those guys that you missed out in the draft, don't be surprised if you see them sitting there on the waiver wire. And then that's when you can really feel good about, okay, this is
we're talking redraft here.
Yeah.
Or a lot of those rookies that are going to get drafted high that don't produce immediately, they're going to be flown around on the waiver wire come week 5, 6.
Right.
And that's usually when you want to have those guys. It's hard to wait and be patient and be able to house them, and unless you just draft good enough that you could wait. You know what I mean? That you have starters good enough. That's why you, even with the rookies, like, okay, rookie running backs, I'm never afraid to take those stabs. As long as I know that they they're walking onto some form of role, because like Scatterbo, for instance, I love the idea of Scatterbo. You know what I mean? But like I don't want to remove the value from him by taking him up with like the other rookie running backs, right? Like with Henderson and even Judkins for that matter, and Hamilton. Like you can make a case for each one of these guys where it's like why we need to temper our expectations a little bit. But second half darlings, they got it written all over all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think RJ Harvey out of Omarion and Genty is the next highest one on ADPs right now. In ADPs is RJ.
Yeah, and I think them saying that they want to use him in the passing game, and them praising his pass catching ability and his route running ability, all throughout OTA so far. This is what we want to hear.
Yeah, but then you look at that running back room and you start to wonder. I said, okay, is this coach speak? Is this stuff that is being said to kind of like throw it out there that, oh, okay, we can expect the Broncos to play a certain way, as opposed to it's like, no shit, actually we're gonna fuck with you. And we're going to throw fucking McLaughlin out here. And then Estime is going to run all the short yard work. And then RJ is going to have the second drive. And then you're going to be like, whoa, what's going on?
How can we pinpoint this running back room?
We just watched the other two just take that ball downfield and score. Like, these guys got this shit figured out. And all of a sudden, they're not even on the field. Some other guys out here and they're doing other shit, like that might have to be the way to find your way at the top of the AFC West, is totally score an obscene amount of points and being unpredictable, Sean Payton style. Running the ball and throwing the ball, having a quarterback that is athletic but very good game manager. Bo Nix fits that role. They got question marks at receiver. However, I think somebody steps up.
Somebody has to step up, big bro.
Somebody's got to, right? 100%.
Bro, fucking, I've been doing a little bit of homework because I got something coming out. And the fucking crazy thing about this wide receiver room, right? So Sutton is the only 1,000-yard receiver in that room, right? The next closest motherfucker to him was Marvin Mims at 500 yards, bro.
And that was last year.
3,700 yards, you feel me? But to only have 1,000 yards receiver and the next receiver 500, and then Javonte, he had I want to say 11% target share, and he had 70 targets last year, even though he was highly inefficient on the ground. But just like to your point about the 3 running backs going into this season, 2 of them can do all the work, and then somebody else finna get in that green zone and walk that bitch in or get the ball thrown to him or get a target. And one thing about Bo Nix, he's highly accurate in the motherfucking red zone, bro. 100%.
Scored a lot of touchdowns in college.
Bro, he had 4.5 attempts in the red zone per game last year, dog. 100%.
Yeah, he knows. he knows he's got his work cut out for him in terms of being the best team in that division. But shout out to the Broncos for not being afraid to take the best player available at times during that draft this season. And the Chargers for that matter. The Chargers did really good last season. We'll see how well they did this season. But the Broncos, man, they getting another elite cornerback, potential like island, don't throw it this way.
A Revis Island player.
What are quarterbacks going to have to resort to? They're going to have to resort to playing the Broncos as if they don't have two elite cornerbacks. They're just going to have to fucking go with it. And if he's as good as Surtain, man, that's a nasty fucking duo right there. Time will tell. We'll see how it pans out, but there's a lot of noise on that Jade pick that this Denver Broncos defense. They knew that they had some weaknesses, and they're shutting the book on that fucking weakness.
All the AFC West teams had solid drafts this year.
Yeah, and I mean, even the Broncos, the double back with the Broncos, the Dre Greenlaw, the Hufanga, the Jade Barron pick, the Evan Ingram pick. It's like they ready to go, bro. They feel like they not too far off.
Yeah.
It looks great on paper, but let's see what the results look like for any team. You know what I'm trying to say? But no, it was a hell of an offseason and draft. It was. I was very impressed.
I hope Bakes ain't right about that, but that is a concern of mine too. Is that he's RJ Harvey, I should say. That's the topic that we're going back to. RJ Harvey, he's 1 inch taller than Deuce Vaughn. Everybody that's not familiar with him, just think of the Darren Sproles type of player, but with half the talent.
Exactly.
And then Devin Achane, which right now he's the biggest boomer bust that we have in the game. But if you do have him for a stretch where he's on the field for 10 consecutive weeks, you want to hope that those 10 weeks are at the end of your fantasy season so you can go through that fucking playoff run with Devin Achane doing some fucking incredible shit for fantasy purposes. It's I know that one game that he had last year, that first blow up game, that was like, whoa, this guy is on another level. And then he has that like the very next week, or maybe it was 2 weeks, and like an even bigger game. You're like, I don't know what we're dealing with here, but it's time to take this guy serious and treat him as a top 5 running back. It just sucks that they're 190 pounds and they're going up against competition that weighs 240, 250 and can run a 4.5. It's not a whole lot you can do about that when you weigh 190.
Brandon said, wait, so I might be right about RJ Harvey. Overrated.
I hope not. That was my first reaction. I hope not, but definitely realistic, 100%.
Peacock said, Higgins has 2 one-handed catches today. I know it's only camp, but you love to see it. You damn right. When they making plays, man, they ranting and raving. So the Niners content creators that I follow, Lombardi, Krueg, and Cohen, all 3 of them, bro, they all say the same about Jordan Watkins. Jordan Watkins is out there making plays against the number 1 corners, or the corners that's playing, have starting roles locked in. He making plays against them. 100%, bro.
There's a rookie that's been locking down Deebo Samuel in the Commanders camp.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's been shutting him down left and right when the ball's coming to him. The rookie has been lights out on Deebo.
That's Tebow. And scary because that Washington defense, that defensive back is no joke right now as it is. And if we're adding a youngster on the outside to kind of just spill in in Washington.
Yeah,
So,
Jalen Lane. We got an influx of Jalen's that could be a thing.
The defensive back.
Oh, the D-back. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess there's a rookie that seems to be basically telling Debo that you're washed. Basically, Debo can't.
So
Can't
should we buy into this that this corner is really good in OTAs?
Buck,
Again, this rookie against Debo, or is Debo like taking it easy because of OTAs?
Right, that could be a thing, but I don't think he's gonna take lightly to smack talk, and this is right up smack talk alley right here. So the only way that this news comes out is because smack talk gets so loud that these idiot reporters on the sideline, they start to key in on shit, and they're like, "Oh, what are they getting all interested in?" And then all of a sudden they get their fucking nose out of their phone and start paying attention to shit.
Actually, his name was Trey Amos.
Oh, Trey Amos.
Old Miss.
Wasn't he like a top 5 graded CB in last year's class?
I believe so.
I feel like I heard you guys talk about that name before. Oh, Samson.
We got Johnny in the building. What's up, Johnny?
What's up, Johnny? We got to go to Aspen, where the wine flows like the birds of Capistrano.
Yeah, I want to go. I've been to Colorado during the winter, but
He told me there's like virtually no bugs there. I was like, word.
During the summertime, it's probably super underrated.
He was a second round pick.
Second round pick for who?
Yeah, for Amos. Troy Amos, yeah.
Oh,
second round, he came out of Alabama.
Is he is he a tall traditional Dan Quinn cornerback? Like, is he a 6'2"?
Let's see, he is 6'1", 190 pounds.
Okay, so he's like a hybrid version. He's not a classic Dan Quinn corner.
And that nickel over there, Mike Sanders, still is pretty good too.
Yeah, he was 2 years at Louisiana, 1 year at
Alabama,
Michigan, and then went to
the
Ole
champion
Miss.
Squad, Michigan.
So he came out of Ole Miss.
And then they got my guy Quan Martin at safety, and then who's the other guy? He's a sophomore. He's a sensation too. Saint Krill.
Sanders still, I think you're talking about.
Saint
Krill. Yeah, close enough.
I'm the worst.
So he's a nickelback corner, and he's out of Michigan. He makes.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You swooped on him after I took Quan Martin. I was like, oh, damn it. I was going to try to acquire both of them. But yeah, okay, he's a nickel. He's not a safety.
Yeah, he's not. He's definitely not an outside guy. So he's in his ideal position, and he does a good job at playing that position. So his job security is there. Sometimes what happens is some of your fantasy assets for IDP. In real life are not assets for these teams because they might get the tackle and they might accumulate fantasy points for us, but in real life that's not what some of their.
And then there's Mike Hilton. Remember Mike Hilton?
Oh yeah.
Because like every so often when wherever he was at, whether he was with Brian Flores that year with the Steelers, or like then he went to the Bengals, and like because they would send him, they would hit that little corner blitz with him from the nickel spot. Like this shit was like sneaky, and he ain't like I want to say he had like 4 sacks in his last couple years. Not a season, but like the last 2 years he played. Very tricky. But he would get like a bunch of tackles like a motherfucker. Kenny Moore, another one. Phenomenal nickel. Just racks him up.
Kenny Moore could play some outside.
They're gonna have a decent secondary this year. They brought in Charvarius Ward. Then you got my man Jalen Jones on the opposite side. He's gonna be a sophomore, and he was a tackling machine last year too because they're getting picked on. You know what I mean? Then they brought in Cam Bynum. They got fucking Kenny Powers or Kenny Moore.
Kenny Powers.
My bad. That's the dude from that show.
Yeah, the softball.
Yeah,
Or
Kenny fucking Powers. And then there's who else they got? They got this other what's his name? Nick Cross. Or is it Nick Cross? No,
Nick Cross for Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'm still on Indy. But then they got Luan Romo now as the DC. So we know what he likes to do with those safeties and those corners and nickels and whatnot. You know what I mean? Secondary is good for us.
Luan, like Luan
Romo. Luan.
Character Luan from King of the Hill, the niece.
Yeah. With the braces.
I don't know.
Oh no, she was the one that was in college.
She's the
right?
blonde one. She's the blonde one that's like
Uncle Hank.
Probably like late in high school or some shit.
What was the Dale? Dale was a fool. He was
Dale was a pesticide. He was working for Terminex or some shit.
He's always wearing the stunners.
But yeah, he was definitely a conspiracy.
He's always acting like he's seen it all, man.
Well, yeah, he had internet.
Dale, what the hell were you talking about, Dale?
In the 90s, there was only like one person on their block that had dial-up internet. Nobody was fucking back then. They were like, nah, a computer, fuck that. What the hell do I want a computer for?
I make propane and propane products.
I can go to the library and type it up, can't I? Why do I need a computer at home? That was the way that I know I thought. I was like, my parents
shit. I grew up in the Silicon Valley, bro. So we had computers in that motherfucker in the house.
Yeah, we had.
And it was like, oh shit, when we had them color, when they started having them color woo wops though. I used to like going to my mom's work. Like if I was sick, she would just take me to work when I was a kid. And then like, what is it called? She worked for Silicon Graphics, and they made the software and the chips or whatever the fuck for the or no, they didn't make the software. They made the chips and stuff that made, and then they worked in tangent with Nintendo on the Nintendo 64. Nice. So from like third grade to like all the way they released it, I would go to my mom's work and play the fucking one. They had one level that you could play. It was just there on the fucking for the testers and shit. But like, yeah, it was dope because they let us have access to that shit. And it was sick playing Mario in a 3D world. You're like, whoa. And then the controller was all fucking weird. Like, at least, you know, then it became the norm. The analog stick on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm a D-pad to the heart.
PlayStation came out with
the dual action.
Dual fucking sticks. That was tight.
They're like, look here, left-handers. We got you. Yeah, I was always I'm a Street Fighter head to the heart. So back in the days, I used to always get the little joystick woo wop, so I could feel like I'm at the arcade at home.
Yeah,
play with the homies all day. Pause. Street Fighter was like shit.
There's a good amount of tournaments.
Facts. I used to go to them. We during the Capcom versus SNK 2 era. That was when I was in high school. I mean, we used to do that shit on the weekends, bro. Because then even in the tournament, they had hella machines of this motherfucker at the golf land. So it'd be like, even if you're not in a tournament, motherfuckers are side betting just on the machines for real. You know what I mean? We're just like, fuck it, we're gonna bet over here on the side.
It's so popular that same game. You know, this is not 100% sure, but a lot of classic games still hold major tournaments.
Yeah, Capcom versus Marvel Part 2.
Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Champion.
Yep, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Championship Edition for show. What is it? Evo.
Evo is
That's the big tournament.
I think well, yeah, there's a.
Oh, is it going to be going on when we're in Vegas?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we're going in August. Oh, yeah, it's like a July thing, huh?
I don't know.
All right, Michael Parsons showed up to minicamp.
Yeah, because he better.
Yeah.
Talking about you want some money.
Yeah, and minicamp is in Los Angeles area, so.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They
right.
go
Jerry
to
they go to Disneyland. They go to the beach.
No, but what is the thing? It's like it sounds like a European school.
What?
The name of the place that they go in SoCal. Not Irvine. Where do they go? It's a place in Watch, you'll know what I'm talking about. Someone Google it. Where's the Cowboys training camp every year? Brunsford? No.
Training camp?
Oxnard.
Oxnard. See, doesn't that sound like some fucking European school shit? Oxnard.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, Ford Center, it's called, right? Isn't it? Well, that's the one in Frisco, but the California one.
Right. They finally built them a whole thing. Now they're not in.
Yeah, they're in Frisco, Texas now. Yeah, it's
last year was the first year.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I mean, same thing with the Raiders. I think this year is it this year or last year, but they finally got their own indoor facility over there. Yeah. Because before they would do it in Napa. Even when they moved to Vegas, they would still go to Napa every year. Because that's what they used to do in Oakland.
Yeah, it's right in Frisco, Texas. So it's on 9 Cowboys Way.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Grandpa Cotton from King of the Hill.
Yeah.
He was a World War II Purple Heart veteran. Lost my shins in the war. I thought it was funny as hell. He's always hanging out with some, like, I don't know, stripper girl. He's like 88 years old, got no shins. They went into detail on, like, okay, what's really going on with Cotton, and they blew. He stepped on a landmine and it blew his fucking legs off, and they put his feet on his kneecap or whatever at his knee. So if you're not familiar with the show, just imagine some old dude walking. He got no shins, but his feet are on his knees. So you don't get that bend, you just get that waddle. And then just not holding back on whatever comes out of his mouth. As a good old boy Texas man would do if you were born in 1919 or some shit.
No, right?
Definitely pretty out there in terms of what do we call that? The politically correct. Yeah, he still lives in the 40s, so like not everybody is equal anymore during those times.
Who still lives in the 40s? I want to get in on it.
Cotton Hill.
Oh yeah.
Bake started talking about Cotton Hill, and I was like, oh shit, that motherfucker is funny as fuck. Because he just does not give a fuck. He's like, I went to war, lost my shit.
Yeah. he's just he's a savage. That's right. He has the surgically removed nub. Oh, he got blown off.
No, they got blown off on a mine. Like he stepped on a mine and they took out his shins and they put his feet on his knees. So it's like he's wandering around or whatever. And then just like
I forgot about the world.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And he took it all out on Hank. That was another thing that was funny about Cotton. It's like everything that was wrong, I think he took it out on Hank, and Hank was like all about it. He was like, I guess deep down maybe he's suppressing some of the things that he resented from his father, but he ended up becoming. He looked up to his father like he was like the the gold star winner of World War II, or whatever.
Hank.
Good show. I think they're coming out with more stuff. I think they got some new material.
I mean, the dude who created Beavis and Butthead, Harvard grad, by the way. I think
Yeah.
is it Harvard. Anyways,
I don't know if it's
dude,
Harvard, but
he created King of the Hill as well, and he brought back Beavis and Butthead not too long ago. Johnny Mins actually put me on to the more recent Beavis and Butthead. I had to peep it. I was like, okay, you know what I mean. But yeah, he brought back Beavis and Butthead. I don't see why now he don't bring back King of the Hill.
Yeah, there's
so much stuff you can do with Dale.
I think it's
Dale
already
be just tripping off the new age internet, on the socials.
Yeah,
on the social side.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Judge. He's done some movies too.
There you go. That's his name.
You might have seen Idiocracy, and then
okay, that was
back in the day. It really wasn't like a hit. Like sometimes like it would be like a stoner movie because it's so stupid and like. Like think of this like world where like shit like that would happen, but it's scary relevant today where you go back, you watch Idiocracy today, and then you think about what's happening today in the world now, and what happened in that movie. It's there's a connection, kind of.
Jewish are from the future.
You're like, oh my god, we're living in fucking.
They're from the future.
Yeah.
Thoth said it.
What's up? Yeah, man, we were talking about King of the Hill.
I get high and try to talk with Thoth all the time.
Actually, anything Mike Judge, like that movie, Idiocracy, and then Beavis and Butthead, all that stuff. I loved.
I'm a fan of Mike Judge's comedy.
But the King of the Hill was definitely a childhood number. It was always number 2 to Simpsons for me. I always held Simpsons with a higher reputation than King of the Hill. King of the Hill was like the second funniest one.
Yeah,
we got Doug in the building, and we got Ghost Monkey in the building.
Yeah. There's some names that I've seen Doug in the house before.
What happened?
I've seen Doug Smith. I just names. I'm like, huh, okay.
Oh yeah, man! Shout out to Doug Smith, man.
What didn't you know about Cotton Ghost Monkey? Cotton Hill. Because to me, anytime that they showcased Cotton Hill in King of the Hill, he'd always have flashbacks about being in the war. And then there's the one episode where his shins get blown off, but I think that's like
he drove in a big ass truck too.
Well, I remember when he goes to the nurse, when he gets his legs blown off. They send him, and then they go to like the fucking tent with a bunch of like people that got fucked up, and he's already on his game. Classic to the character in the show where he's hitting on the nurses inside of those tents. Like that's the only thing that was on his mind.
I only got my shins blown off, baby.
See, like something similar to that, absolutely, where he brings up his being blown up, and then that maybe he could feel better if they did.
Hey, Bogues, remember that play? In the third round, I was able to get the Washington running back. The guy before me, the Chicago running back, went before me.
Okay, nice. Krosky Merritt, not mad.
Yeah, I got Krosky.
There's some interesting late round rookie running backs here that like even that Mullins, but with the Ullins.
Yeah, plays for Tennessee.
Yeah, because like Spears is like a younger, faster version of Pollard, but not as polished as Pollard, as just all around a running back. So I don't think Pollard loses that job. But then if anything happens to Pollard, I don't think they go to Spears. I think they keep Spears in whatever role he has existing already, and then they would go to this other kid who's like a giant compared to them. He's like 230. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like 6'2", 226.
My thing with some of these rookie running backs,
They got to make the team.
they are really good players and they have a future. But if they're on the wrong squad and we've got a depth chart issue where the people ahead of them,
they'll fall right into
veterans, they're gonna ride the pine the fucking first season. It happens a lot. Like a good, talented Trey Benson. I know he got hurt, but he was a candidate to fall into that same scenario.
Yeah, where he lost out to DeMarcano his rookie year because of the injury.
Yeah, this guy was drafted high, and they still think highly of him, but there's just too many pros.
And they think so highly of him, they extend James Conner.
Yeah, well, I think learning is still important for young players, and if
James Conner just doesn't die too. I
don't learn as quickly as others, then that might be the reason why some of them sit the bench that first year. There's a lot of rookies that sit the bench, even if they're drafted in that first round. They're basically gonna play minimal, and then earn the role through.
He's a good earner.
Players moving on to other teams and other opportunities or injuries.
Hey, Johnny said his name is Khalil Mulligans. His first name is Khalil. He's from Krypton. He talking about
Khalil. Yeah. See, I knew it was familiar because I'm from a neighboring planet.
Yeah, one of my homegirls. That's her baby boy's name is Khalil on everything.
So
she named him after the Superman shit.
We need Superman in there. See, Tajay Spears, he got bone on bone knees. He's like a skinny Todd Gurley, right? And then, Pollard, Tony Pasta, you know what I'm saying? Actually, Pasta always continues to outdo the old Bogey's expectation of him every year, doesn't he?
Yeah, minimum.
This is the first year I'm like, yeah, Tony Pasta, great value. He's going to die on me. This is facts.
Yeah.
I think on Pick Your Poison last year, I came up with another idea. Well, it's not really my idea, but something that I just saw on another pod, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it's just like fill in the blank. So we just come up with anything like, someone I'm fading in the mid rounds. I'm fading blank in the mid rounds. You know what I mean? Like that, that type of shit. My favorite receiver to target. Or something blank, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm still a work in progress, but yeah, I'm thinking about doing that for this week's Playmakers.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I can't stand blank. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, it's interesting. I think, I don't know. I can't. I'm speaking for myself. I know if I was.
Blank is the best
bounce back. And I was listening on the stream, I would be excited to interact with that idea. That's not a bad one. I like that one.
Yeah. The blank episode is what they'll call it.
Yeah, because there's a lot you can do with the blank. It's like that blank check. Everybody's that blank check. How do I get that?
Ooh, there it is.
Ain't that a movie? Called Blank?
Sure is.
Yeah.
He said $1 million, and then the next scene he's over there in the fucking mansion. I'm like, hold on.
Honestly, that's like it was a big ripoff on Richie Rich. Remember the movie Richie Rich?
Where is this at? Is this in Texas?
I think it came out
in the 90s for $1 million. Like you probably get a mansion for like 100 bands or something. Like what was going on there?
Yeah. Blank check.
How's he gonna afford that property tax every year?
Yeah, and then looking back, or
and then he was trying to fuck on the older bitch.
Yeah, how much money? It wasn't like he won $1 million or anything.
He wrote $1 million in the check, right? It was the movie called Blank Check. Like $1 million in it, and then all of a sudden he was balling out.
Million's pretty balling back then.
I guess in the 90s for sure too, huh?
Yeah.
What's the million in the 90s equivalent to today? Is probably like 3.
Well, in property, it's different. In bread, it's relatively similar, but in houses, it's like no fucking similarities.
Yeah, that is true.
That's true.
$1.8 million house in certain parts of San Jose, and the motherfucker's like 1,800 square feet.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's freaking sick. How big those? That's big.
No, that's really tiny.
Well,
1,800.
how big is
18,000?
1,800.
1,800.
1,800
fuck.
square feet for a 1.8 million because it's the location. Motherfuckers will flip that for like two bands for 2 M's.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I've always thought that if I had the ability, or if I was in position to be like, oh, okay, I want to buy a home, I would consider that.
Yeah, I mean,
a
shit, you buy in
lifelong
San Jose
investment,
or other
right?
places in the Silicon Valley, like the
Or
motherfucker is going.
what I've always thought was go to an older neighborhood that is still
Appreciating.
gentrifying is actually the proper word, right?
There you
If
go.
we're gonna be honest.
Yeah,
So
get in
a lot of these
on the ground level.
that were uniquely cultural to a certain race or something like that, right? They're moving out, because they gotta bounce. That shit is getting
Yeah, they're getting
out of
priced
control.
out.
So they're getting priced out, and then the new money comes in, and they're actually paying some pretty pennies for
Yeah,
these.
because they got the money.
These houses are built in the 30s and 40s, and they're not like pristine by any means. They need some touching. And there's
even places like in Philly and
selling
Detroit
for
where like you can get a house for like 10, 20 bands, but you got to build a whole house basically. But it's like it's insane because these areas are bad. But if they get to gentrify some of these areas, people are gonna buy these motherfuckers and then flip them for like a couple hundred down the road. You feel me? Like
yeah, and it doesn't take long. Once it ignites that fire, it burns hot. The neighborhood that I live in right now, over the last probably 5 years, it's night and day difference. And in another 5 years,
I bought 2 houses in the last 5 years.
We're gonna have all sorts of new stuff
marginally different
around here. There's a big ass project here set not a block away. The tallest building in the Orange County is being constructed over the next however many years or whatever, and it's not going to be actually like physically massive and impressive to be like okay, yeah, we compare it with the talls of the talls, but it's still a fact that it's going to be a brand new building, and they're putting so many floors on it that they're going to make it the tallest building in the county and compete with some of the tallest buildings in LA. And it's pretty.
What's this building going to be for? Just hella companies in there?
I think it's going to be like a metroplex. So think of like a big ass building that has all sorts of different. Where
are they building this bitch at?
Right, like literally, it's not even a block away. I'll be able to see this building outside my window
it's
here.
It's gonna be a big giant orange building.
Why is it orange? No. It's in Orange County, but it's.
Oh, okay, that's where the orange came from.
When it's done, it's the tallest building in Orange County.
I'm like, eyes, motherfucker.
Yeah. So
sick. And I bet it's gonna be one of them fucking super green type of buildings too, where it's like solar panels, all this motherfucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd assume,
that new age shit, man.
The new stuff.
Hey, my house is a spaceship, man. I can take off, man.
Yeah. Well, the building that I live in, it's built by a famous architect, Beckett.
Oh, do I know him?
This guy built the Capitol Records building. So
Andrew Luck.
You've seen this building. Almost everybody has. It's iconic, and it's imagine records, actual vinyl records, stacked on top of each other. Like if you were looking at a jukebox.
Yeah.
You know how they stack them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what the building looks like from the outside. It's white.
Whoa.
So it looks like they got all these records.
That's a spaceship than a motherfucker.
And it's the actual corporate building for Capitol Records.
Word.
Hey, Bogey, you want to hear what Myles Garrett said?
I've seen that building. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
I never really looked at it like as a stack of records. That is badass.
No, yeah, but like on the outside it just looks like circle discs or whatever. But then it says Capitol Records on the top. So when you put 2 and 2 together, you're like, oh shit, that was like a building that's supposed to look like a stack.
I know I come off as a genius, but you know, sometimes it's just like there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. Hey, we've been rejected in all kind of the buildings back in the day. Capitol, Universal. What was else back then? I want to say they still had Virgin too back then.
Well, Virgin's still around, yeah. I think for retailers it was Tower Records, and then there was the other one where it was like
I'm just talking about like the actual like record company Virgin, not just the distributor. Or I guess they're a distributor, right? Initially, that's what they was.
You talking about the label, the contract?
Yeah, the label side.
Label is strictly for the distributing.
Yeah.
So
okay.
whether it be on over the air or through fucking like that's royalties that they're saying, hey, our money is going into finding factories to fucking make these records and CDs and find the radio stations because. Radio stations don't pay the actor or pay the musicians. Nope. They get paid by the money. So radio station,
Clear Channel. Is it still Clear Channel, the one that's like the main one?
That's the main one, yeah. Yeah, but there's a big contract.
They're fucking trillionaires.
Yeah, they're getting.
Give me my money, Clear Channel.
It's funny, like I still listen to radio. I guess it's not my preferred thing, but every once in a while I'll have the radio on because of the reception issues for my internet. So for whatever reason, FM is stronger.
When I moved out here because I lived in the Bay all my life, and then when I moved out here, I'm like, damn, I'm not familiar with any of these personalities. Not to say they're bad or anything, but then I didn't know which state I had to find this. I actually asked JD when I first moved out, what radio stations is out here?
Yeah,
program the woo wops, and I was like, but then I more than ever, because see, before back in this, we were mobbing in the morning. I listened to a morning show, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean? It's because I'm from that era too, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the morning
show.
Now
we do our own morning show.
The morning show is still a thing for sure. It's regional, every region probably has a guy that's better than the other guy or girl or whatever, I know in LA there's a couple morning shows that are long running.
Do they still got Big Boy down there?
Big Boy's still out there and shit.
Yep, for sure. Big Boy. That's like Big Boy is king out there.
Yeah.
All of LA is his neighborhood.
LA radio is not too bad. It does end up feeling like every other radio station because they play the top 40 or whatever, and it's just like
105.
I've heard this song 3 times during this hour. It's wild.
Johnny said the kid actor from Blank Check attacked my neighbor in Boulder. He was a local menace for a while.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Bake said, you guys should do a show like ESPN is doing called The Eighth Round, which is a segment on all the undrafted free agents that they predict will become relevant in their respective offensives, but they don't have a defensive segment yet.
As the kids say, bet. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, what's funny is that I didn't know that was a thing for years and years and years. I watched something that was produced in the 80s, and they were saying bet. And I was like, oh, shit, that's like East Coast jive right there. That was East Coast.
A house party in the beginning of House Party Part 2. Or no, it was Part 3. I remember distinctly in the beginning of Part 3, he's in the drop top, and he's on the phone, right? And then when they pan out, he goes, yeah, bet. And he hangs up on the payphone and then drives off because he's sitting in the car, pulled up on the payphone and shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, shit. Because I rewatched it not too long ago. I was like, oh, shit. They said bet.
They said bet, yeah.
I thought all we do is say the old shit. Anyway, like dope. Nope. Oh, that's back in the days.
Clout been around for a long time.
Clout, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
because
can go
that's
all the
actually
way back to
dictionary.
bad. Like,
It
oh,
literally, it's not
man.
even
Like, that
slang
shit. Oh,
dictionary.
man.
That's like the
The kid
meaning
just
of
started
clout
putting eyes on shit. Oh,
in the
shit,
fucking
man.
dictionary means clout. You know, like
Wow.
what we believe clout. That's in the fucking Webster. It's not. What's the internet slang one that we fucking use for the cool shit? I know I use it. Urban Dictionary. You ever use
Oh,
that?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That motherfucker is
I grew up
funny
talking
as fuck.
Ebonics like another language.
Urban Dictionary get me laughing for hours, dude. Be like just going down the rabbit hole on the dictionary. I'm like, yeah, I never heard this before. It's funny as fuck though.
Like there's all like sometimes you'll have a word and it means different shit in different regions. For example, like you go down to LA or just that general like Southern California, they'll be like, man, you boof. That means like, you know what I mean? He's a goofy, like, you know what I mean? Or he's a fuck up. Like, man, if you say, oh, this shit boof, that means, oh, this shit's all fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? But then boof also means like, you know, when you take Molly or other things of that nature rectally. Because you know what I mean? It goes straight to the bloodstream versus like being digested orally and then broken down into your bloodstream. You know what I mean?
Peacock said the kid, that kid was basically molested by the woman cop at the end.
Oh, that's how he got in blank check.
And then Bake said, I am an urban dictionary. Come on
Right?
now.
And what does this urban mean? Does that mean we live in this? Does that mean like business people are urban? Because they're in like urban settings, like, you know what I mean? Like as in like metropolitan. Like when they say urban, just say ghetto. That's what they want to say. That's what they want to say. No one goes to the ghetto outfitter, do they? They go to urban outfitter. What does that mean? This is how they dress out there. I walked in. I remember my daughter used to dress at shop at Urban Outfitter. I walk in like, hey, no, I'm like, who dresses like this? Oh, I'm old. I wear white tees and graphic tees.
Bake said, "Got to live in the hood for a period of your life in order to have the what is it? The Urban Dictionary." Oh,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then Peacock said the movie ends, but leads into a Law and Order SVU episode. Damn.
I mean, there was something going on with that older lady too. She was a little too comfortable with the kid. You know what I mean? We don't look at that back in the 90s. We're all rooting for that kid. I was a kid watching that movie. It's like, yeah. He's about to take down the what was she, like an accountant or something? I don't know. I feel like she was a redhead in my memory. She a redhead?
I can't even remember.
He's trying to figure out if the carpets match the drapes. That you know what I mean? A lot of redheads in the 90s, huh? I don't know. I guess maybe not a lot. I just immediately think of Scully. And I guess the bitch from Fifth Element is like more like orange, huh? Hey, the Fifth Element is low key, man. Hey, where's Chris Tucker in all this mix? Chris Tucker might be the only guy that was like probably for sure at Diddy parties, and he was at the Epstein Island. Like this guy, where's Chris Tucker?
Man, I can't wait for those.
No one ever puts the two and two together, bro. He was there.
I can't wait for that list of names that they're gonna drop.
I don't know. Really, you're really excited for that list?
I'd like to see some of the names on it.
That list's about to break my heart. I'm sure.
Well, you're not on it.
I'll be like, oh, I love Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, they say he could be going down.
Damn.
I'll be like, no. The only one you know for sure out there is Denzel. Because Denzel used to verbatim tell people, they said Denzel was commonly seen at them parties, but he would always tell people, all right, it's time to go before the devil comes out. And he leaves like at 11 o'clock-ish. You know what I mean? That's like, he was just letting people know, hey, listen, I stayed one time too late to these parties.
Damn. Bake said, I finished writing for that Diddy Love You beat, Bogey. Gonna record it and send you a preview.
Nice. Badass.
Might be shoddy quality because I'm gonna have to use my girl's phone while the beat plays on mine.
It's all good, man. I'm just glad. I'm just glad it was able to draw some inspiration. He was like, what was that with the Rose Gallery, right? He's like, man, I love that beat. And then and that was one of those ones where, in particular, I was like, man, just let that beat ride for like another minute, so we got because remember when we was kids, we would freestyle to those little sections and shit. Like throwing on that one beat at the end of the song, busting on the end of it. You know what I mean? So he told me, he's like, that beat made him start writing again. I was like, badass. So I was like, since he asked, he's like, you got the instrumental? I couldn't find it because I hadn't laid that song down a minute ago. That was from one of last year's projects. So I didn't have it on hand. But I was like, I just shot him a bunch of beats anyway. I'm like, listen, I got a couple laying around. If you're feeling inspired, if you dig it, I dug it. You know what I mean? There's nothing like some good old inspiration to get the pen going. You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
Sometimes it's just a beat or something. You know what I mean? Because motherfuckers, that's part of therapy too. As much as I love to make the ignorant dope dealer music and shit, because it's just a life allegedly that a motherfucker gonna live for a long time. But I love when I have the one off or two off songs that it's about like you know what I mean, family, or it's about just life, or getting introspective with some shit. You know what I mean? I think that's where like motherfuckers makes the difference between like an artist and a rapper. You know what I mean?
Hey, I love the color scheme in the background, Bogey. The 49 colors, huh? Red and black.
I mean, it'd be red and gold then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's either way. It's still good.
Yeah, red and black's probably like Falcons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, red and gold, man. Come on.
Yeah.
It's more red and black background for the dark side of the Force. That's really what it is. I am a Dark Lord of the Sith.
Yo. You are.
Darth Bogey. Darth Skinny. Darth Skinny Lou.
What round y'all in?
We finished
it last night.
Oh, that's what's up.
It now holds the record for the longest draft we've had. The fastest is 11 days of 50 rounds.
That was quite a while.
In the slow draft. Then I think that we've literally matched 2 weeks for every other one. Every other one was like 14 days on the dot. It was like boom. So we pretty much had a gauge, like when you get to like a week, you should be like, halfway. We got to a week, we were like in round 9. I was like, God fucking damn it, bro. And maybe that's exaggerating. It was like maybe like 12. It was still crazy. I was like, damn. And it was one guy, and
yeah.
In true Sith fashion, it was High Roller. He just like, bro, every time. He had a bookend too, so it was like, okay. So sometimes he would even make a pick after waiting like. It'd be like a 4-hour clock. You wait like 3 hours, make a pick, then the wait go like another 3. I'm like, damn it.
Wow.
Like, make the pick before it freezes. You'll hold it up till tomorrow. Like, even at one point, he had it froze on him. And I was like, hey, just in case he didn't know, I was like, hey, you can make a pick if it's paused. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, oh, dang, he didn't know. I'm like, oh, shit. Good thing I told him. Like only 30 minutes in, he would have held this thing up till the morning for show. Well, sometimes you just got to give a little nudge. And like, I understand if like, somebody working or something like that, man, but he just lamping right now. So I was just like, okay, he's just researching or something. But I get it. You're investing your money. You know what I mean? It's a slow draft for a reason. But, it's the Brotherhood of the Sith. So everybody was extra impatient. Everything.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Get the fucking move on.
So make the pick already. Even Lee, I was like, okay, Lee, I see you in the chat.
I would put little
make the pick already.
I'd put a clock
Lee
or
was
put
straight
like
up
a snail
make the pick already.
Or I'd make a little JD, I'd put like a little snail in it.
Like my fucking light will be on for an hour. Like,
snail. The snail always wins the race, Lee.
Damn, I'm like sitting there. Get the fucking pick now. Come on.
Man.
You know what I used to think was fucked up? Like if a motherfucker just walking, right? And then they just stomp on a snail, right? Oh, look at the snail.
Oh,
You know, it might have been rained or something the day before that, and now the snails started coming out. And you start to think, man, this motherfucker, he saw that rain out. He's like, I'm gonna make that journey today. You know what I mean? Cross that sidewalk. And he moving at the snail's pace, and he was just trotting along. And
He thought he was gonna go. He
there was
thought he
no
was
way
gonna
he
go
could have
see
got out
his
of there
bride
too.
that
He
day.
couldn't see it coming. Oh no! You know what I mean? The fate of a snail. Or even worse, you get one of them punk ass kids. Remember back in the days, I was one of them.
oh yeah.
Gathered them up and they just salt them down. And it was just like, ew, do them in. That shit was crazy.
Actually, snails made great fishing bait when I was younger.
But see, you be on some fancy shit. He's like, I only use escargot for my bait. I motherfucker had escargot on this shit, man. Hey, Sir Lee, that's when you hear them stories, that's when you know, oh, that's English.
Yes, my dad
English
did. My dad used to take my uncle used to own a butcher store, right? My dad's brother, right? My dad would go down, he'd get the meat paws for free, right? And he'd get a chicken, right? And my dad goes, "You want?" Because I used to ask my dad for money all the time for fishing, and he's like, "God damn it, Lee! Go out in the backyard. I'll put a chicken out there, and you'll get all these maggots." And my mother got pissed. No, he would go out, and I have 1,000 maggots because of fucking you put it in a bag, and it breeds. And it fucking maggots are not fucking because in England you should go down to the fishing store and you could buy maggots for a certain amount of money. And my dad goes, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself."
Your dad was old school.
Yeah, he was an old school. He didn't like. He was a cheap motherfucker.
Big old bag of maggots. Whoa.
It pissed my mom off.
It just made me think. That shit made me think of remember y'all fuck with Poltergeist back in the day?
Yeah.
There's a scene where they put the meat out to like to thaw, and then it time lapses real quick, and you just see the maggots grow out of it.
Yeah.
See, that was before CG, so they had to really put a camera right there and let that motherfucker sit out. They probably put the heater on and the thing, let that shit sit out. Probably how long you think it take? A build some maggots? A couple days.
I think my dad left out two days.
Just in the movie, then they time lapse it, and it just looks like the maggots come out of nowhere. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
2 days for computer graphics.
No.
Yeah, Poltergeist was what, the 80s?
Poltergeist. Oh man.
Yeah.
I used to love horror movies. Now I can't watch them anymore.
I mean, back then the CG in the 80s was always something to do with like lightning and blue lightning. So like you seen all the sci-fi movies back, like even like what was it? Star Wars. What's his name? Force Lightning. Sidious Force Lightning. Or like in Howard the Duck.
He definitely didn't age well.
Yeah, what was Howard the Duck?
Oh man, that was
that's like
the bad guy in there too.
Howard the Duck.
Is it,
or in Ghostbusters?
Was it furries or was it like claymation for Howard the Duck? That was like a claymation, wasn't it? It wasn't a guy in an actual like suit, was it?
I think it was a suit, dude.
I think he was in a suit, kiddo.
Because it was like, you had a Muppet. What's the Muppet dude? I think Jim Henson might have did
Jim Henson, yeah. Rest in peace.
Oh, Jim Henson.
Jim Henson did all this. He even did the original Ninja Turtles woo-wops. Like he made all the Jim Henson's factory of whatever the fuck they called it. Like where
they did the Hanna-Barbera Jim Henson's like collab. Like remember when they
like Jim Henson would build all the motherfucking puppet the mechanical puppets and all the puppet suits that these motherfuckers wore. Yeah, he made all them shit.
Yeah, Uncle Pokes.
I maybe
Hanna-Barbera
and he definitely did the Ninja Turtles and a bunch of other shit in the 90s. And
the Hanna-Barbera and the Henson shows, they were all on the same channel.
Oh, word.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. On the Saturday afternoon cartoons, they would do the old school, like the Rocky and Bullwinkles and
the Flintstones
and all them Hanna-Barberas, right? There's a bunch of them. And then they would start to throw in the Jim Henson's Muppets and stuff like that. So you get the Muppets, which they were badass too. Like some of them characters, The Muppets were down. They were.
Yeah, I fuck with Animal. Animal was a savage.
Yeah, everybody in that church rock band or whatever it was, that was like
yeah, Animal was the drummer.
and
He
then,
come through this wrecking shot, Animal.
And then how they actually portrayed some of the live actors, because you know how they always put real people in the mix. Like they were actually
all the stages were just like 3 feet. And all the sets were like 3-4 feet above the ground because you know what I'm saying, you had the motherfuckers underneath them motherfuckers just
The Muppets, they always had a pretty like legit villain, it seemed like. And looking back at it, it's funny because
the Muppets driving. Or when they're riding the bike, when they show anytime they show him riding the two people bike, what's his name, Kermit and Miss Piggy?
Yeah,
it's hella funny. It just looks like super unnatural. Mm-hmm. Clearly looks like puppets.
Clearly, yeah. Their feet are attached to those pedals for sure.
Yeah, low key Jim Henson. Tim Burton, these motherfuckers, they were like massive on my childhood. A lot of the shit they did, I fucked with all that shit. What was it? Tim Burton, even the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, that was the shit, bro.
Was Tim Burton's show? Was the Pee-wee's Playhouse?
The film.
Whatever the fuck.
I want to say the movie came before the show. And it was Tim Burton who did the movie, the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where somebody jacks his bike.
Yeah, I thought that the show was around before the movie, but I guess not. That's new to me. Remember the chair? It's always like this. The cushion would lift up. And you would see some like teeth underneath it.
I remember I called one of my cats Gonzo after Gonzo from the Muppets.
Okay. Yeah, Gonzo. Yeah, did they ever actually confirm like what he actually is? What is Gonzo anyway?
A fucking alien.
Man, that's right.
I don't know.
Big nosed alien.
Oh, every day.
Hey, JD, did you watch Alf when you were growing up?
Oh, yeah. You motherfucking
that
right.
was one of my fucking favorites, dude.
Oh, everything.
That shit was the funniest shit.
He was an alien for sure.
Yeah, that was one fucking
mind. Yeah, see, I don't like Alf because he'd be eating cats and weird shit like that. I'm not down with that. Oh, fuck with Alf. Fuck you, Alf.
You know what else just came up on my timeline from the old school? What's the little girl that was a robot?
Oh, you Morky Mindy?
No, the little girl. She was a little girl and she lived with the family and she was a robot.
Oh, I can't think of that name.
That shit had just popped up on a Small World, Small Wonder. Small Wonder.
Small Wonder.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. Maybe if I seen it, but right now at the top of my head, I got no idea what you're talking about.
I'm gonna see if they got a YouTube short for it. I think that's what it was that I seen. Small.
What's in that show, anyways?
Wonder.
I can't remember that fucking cast
show. Here we go.
I can't even remember the girl's name that was in that thing.
Oh yeah, here we go, right here.
JD, who was the main character in that show? I can't remember.
Here you go, right here. I think this is it.
Small Wonder.
She's a small wonder, lovely and bright and soft curves. She's a small wonder.
That was the 80s, dude.
Like other girls.
Yeah.
She's a miracle, and I grant you, she'll enchant you at first sight. She's a small wonder, and she'll make your
She's a robot.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
No,
Made of plastic. Microchips here and there. She's a small
I probably was about 10 years old when this came out.
brings life.
Yeah, that shit old school. I remember that as a kid.
Yeah, that's old school. It did, and I don't know if it got syndicated because growing up as a kid, I don't remember ever seeing any of that.
Oh, my mama, yeah, I remember
know
that
what?
shit as a kid.
I don't know about you guys or anybody else, but when I hear that song, the only thing that modern TV gives that type of like nostalgic is Family Guy. Like that whole fucking song and like the corniness of it being the 80s.
It was 85 to 89.
It was I can imagine Family Guy doing that skit in their, Family Guy manner. But the song would sound just like that.
They said the only time I liked Pee Wee Herman was when he came out with Cheech and Chong. I'm sorry, not sorry. Ha 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 ha.
Shit,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Not Pee Wee Herman in the motherfucking red bike. Oh, my mama.
yeah. That was isn't that the one where they put the weed on the outside of the truck and they drove it? And I think that what the fuck is that one? Somebody's got to correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say that's the one where they're hopping across the border and they got that fucking pan that's just like grass all on the outside. Shit. Dinosaurs. That was another movie or TV show during that same era, and same thing. It's like were they actors inside of the dinosaurs or were they claymation, or it's like how did that all work out? Because like sometimes I remember their mouths, they did not being like, moving very realistic. So a guy in a costume does make sense. But then the CGI of the late 80s, early 90s on the show Dinosaurs, I'm pretty sure they were people in costumes.
Yeah, they were wearing like it was all mechanical shit and costumes in the dinosaurs. But yeah, they did have the CGI when they would like show the other dinosaurs. The big dinosaurs.
Right. Yeah, they would do the the dimensional scene or whatever. It's like, oh, we're gonna go to outside here and the fucking wherever the fuck, and it would be like
Dinosaurs was very low key. How did it end? They got hit by a meteor or something like that.
Yeah, they all died at the end. That's all funny. It's like we're gonna stick.
It always ends bad for the
We're
dinosaurs.
gonna stick to the actual story. They're all dead.
Not the mama.
Mm-hmm.
I always just found it odd that they would choose to put only like a flannel on bread with no pants, right? Or like and then the kid's the same thing. He's just wearing like a goddamn shirt. Oh, I guess they had him in like a diaper, huh?
Hey, Peacock in Minnesota Den said the same thing. Not the mama.
Hey, Bogey, I just got a trade in that league, and I know I'm gonna decline. Oh, he probably reneged it. Hold on. He was sending me. This is what it was going to be. He was going to get Fields and McCaffrey from me. He was going to give me Waddle and a first-round pick.
No,
that's why he took it down.
No shit.
He embarrassed himself.
Hey, Bakes a lot said,
you tell him, give your head a shake.
I'm going to I'm going to do the emoji. That's what I'm going to do.
You tell him Bogey said, give your head a shake.
You know what I did? I gave him this face like this.
Lee with his emojis.
Bake said, nah, that was Up in Smoke. Pee Wee was in Nice Dreams, I believe.
Oh, okay. So, oh shit, the marijuana van.
He was in two of them.
Oh, the marijuana van was the shit, bro. They was getting higher than a motherfucker when they was driving that motherfucking out the exhaust pipe.
Cheech and Chong's next movie, he was the guy. What do they call the bellhop? Yeah, what do you want? I already told you. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to call the police on them, and then he's later on in the comedy club trying to do an act, and then they push him off the stage and shit. But then in the other one, he was in the nut house or for lack of a better term. He was like one of the crazies in the house. You know what I mean? But they put Chong in there because they didn't know what to do with him. They're like, oh, he's probably crazy.
Yeah.
So they had him up in there. But Pee Wee Herman was playing some other. He's never playing Pee Wee. I think he might have. Pee Wee Herman might have been his stand-up act in that Up in Smoke movie. I gotta go revisit that. Or not Up in Smoke, next movie. Cheech and Chong's next movie. That's my favorite one. With Cousin Red. Holy shit.
How many total Cheech and Chongs was there? Was that 3 or 4?
70. Nah, the Cheech and Chongs, there was what? Cheech and Chong, Nice Dreams, Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke, next movie. But then they had all these, they had like the Corsican Brothers.
Yeah.
Where it was like these other like one-off movies where it's not even about like them smoking weed and shit.
You ever fuck with the tape, the fucking cassettes?
Oh yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah,
that was the first thing I had to buy.
Yeah,
I remember when the CDs first dropped.
Yeah, they had the audio only from fucking Cheech and Chong skits.
Yeah, the albums.
Yeah,
comedy albums. But
in my 78 Cadillac, my dad rebuilt the motherfucking 8-tracks, spent $500 to rebuild the 8-track, left 8 tracks in there. Then when I bought the lack off him, I took that motherfucker out and put a CD player in there. My dumb ass, when I had my 77 Nova, I did the opposite. I put the deck at the bottom and kept the original shit. And I wish I would have kept that for my lack, bro. On my mama. Real 8-track type shit.
8-track woo-wop, bro.
On my mama. With Richard Pryor tapes on there, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Live from Sunset, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cassette was what, 50 minutes each side?
Yeah, basically. Back in the day. It's like an hour.
Was it an hour? Was it 60 minutes?
They used to have them little thick tapes, remember back in the days? You had to look through and they got a thick ass reel in this motherfucker.
Yeah. And the cool thing was you could write it on top of it. So like when the radio was playing a new song, you can quick
hit that record.
Rip that shit.
Man, that was the early mixtapes for the broads, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I made you a mixtape.
Yeah, you
trying to cut it off before the radio station drop comes in, and you're listening to Sunday Slow Jams.
Yeah, go to Save On to get some more tape.
Hey, even when we started burning them CDs, bro, that was another hustle too. Like all the homies that were like, all on the LimeWire, or what was before LimeWire? Napster.
Napster.
Yeah, download it all on Napster and then burn the CDs and shit. The game changed when there was when it was like burning the burnt games. Now it was like, oh, this is a wrap. Because then we would just go rent games, burn them, and then the motherfucker that want to buy it, sell it to them for like $10 at the school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It really took broadband. So not everybody had broadband, but if you did,
you ain't lying.
You could.
Or cable back then.
Yeah, because everybody was looking at CDs. Everybody wanted CDs, and we would be able to get you a CD, but there'd be like a little creative fee or whatever, like that shit isn't hard to do. Like, just give me a playlist on what you want. Make that shit. That's not hard at all.
Yeah, and then like when we started putting out our own music and shit, the homie, he had the thing that burnt 4 CDs at once. Hella ignorant, right?
Oh yeah.
And we were like, oh fuck yeah! And boom, boom, we was pumping them out. Handing them motherfuckers out.
Yeah, the one with the bitch snorting Ajax. That's the first one.
That's the first one.
That's Up in Smoke.
Yeah, he's in there too. He's like in the nut house.
And I didn't know.
He's doing like a bunch of that shit. I'm like, oh shit, that's
the big old weed van, the truck or whatever the fuck it was, a van.
She said, woo! She thought I was like, this bitch snorted the Ajax, bro.
Yep, she did that.
Yeah. Oh. And then she goes in for another one.
Yeah, she was all sorts of gone.
He was not even trying. He was like, oh.
She was gone.
remember? He goes, he's like, hey, pull over here, man, to my sister's house, man. And he's like, I gotta go get some pee from her. He's like, yeah, my PO wants some pee. And he's like, I'd be fucking with my PO, bro. He's like, last time I peed in a mayonnaise jar, but I didn't wash it out first, so that was some type of freak. There's all kind of shit floating around in my pee. He's like, this time I'm really gonna fuck with him. He's like, my sister's pregnant, man. So anyways, he jumps out the apartment, jumps back in the van, and they're driving. He's like, look what I got. Look what my sister gave me. It was like a big ass bag of powder. He's like, oh shit, man. Hey, come on, man. I want to make it a taste, man. Hey, come on, man. And he's like, no, man. This shit will ruin your life, Jerry. He's like, come on, man. Don't just some chicken shit, man. Come on, let me get it. So boom. He's like, just a little bit, man. And he puts his whole face in it. Ah! and he starts choking. He's like, hey, man, that's soap, man. He's not trying to tell you. Oh, this motherfucker. He was a hog, though. He said he put his own face in that motherfucker. No, at the end of that one, that's my favorite one, though. What is that? The next movie. But they get abducted in the weed fields. He goes out to Red's, like Red had like they took the boys on one. They're in a high speed. He takes them into the weed fields. You know what I'm saying? And then they get then this flashing light comes, so they get abducted. But then Chong comes back and he's waking up Cheech. Hey man, try this space coke, man. We were up there with some aliens, man. Try this space coke, man. And he fucking hits that shit and then fucking shoots through the roof. Like literally. Yeah, Cheech that one was hella ignorant. Cause like just that one it starts off, they're hijacking some gas. Like they're ciphering gas.
Yep.
And they're putting it into a fucking trash can. And then, saying, well, first of all, they're holding it in a trash can, then they pour it in the trunk. You know what I mean? That's how they were transferring said gasoline. And then he decides to light up a doobie and they just fucking go in flames. Yeah, that's how they introduced Donna. Because then Donna works at some fucking casting call shit. And he's like, we need some clothes, man. So they go over there and just, boom, come up on hella clothes.
Yeah, they're all like high.
They look like savages. Right? They're all covered in soot and burnt up.
Yeah.
Donna. Too much. Then what was it? Oh yeah, then what they do with the gas is even funnier, is because he needs the gas to fill up his Harley that doesn't have a back tire, but he has a Harley set up in the crib with the tailpipe out the window, so he can just fucking ride that shit in the house. Just revving the fuck out of it. And then the poor neighbor, all that exhaust goes right to the neighbor's bushes. He's out there always tentatively trimming and shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's shit like that. This is before I even smoked weed. I was like, maybe 8, 9 years old when I discovered Cheech and Chong and all that shit. We ran all the movies, me and the homies, and then we would just be dying, bro. We're like, oh, we're gonna smoke weed for sure. We already knew it. We're like, by the time Half Baked came out, I think it was like 99. We were 9th grade, or we were 8th graders. We were already blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we watched that, we were watching that movie in the theater. I was like, oh shit, sick. Watching a weed movie and we're fucking totally blowed.
Yeah.
We probably were smoking some fucking whack ass tree back then.
I think we were. I know some of the.
I never rolled for the longest time. I remember just never really like remembering the weed from back in the early days. Until I started allegedly moving that shit, and it was like, okay, yeah, you start learning all the textures and qualities, and you know what I mean, and be able to tell the difference between what's fire and not.
So I would get the stuff that at the time when I'm 18 to 18 years old, whatever, the fire stuff that I was getting when I passed it along to the old timers that are, you know, they're in their 40s.
Actually, by the time I was 18, we was already having Granddaddy and shit like that.
But they
from the Mecca, though.
comment that the overall potency wasn't any different than from the shit that they were fucking with.
Well, I remember shout out to the homie Hess. He was telling me what they're doing now is like they're going and taking like sesamia and like like that's like a Jamaican strain, you know what I mean? And it's like because it's super enriched in sativa, but it's just not potent enough in it to get you high. So what they're doing is they're concentrating these down and crossing it with like fucking actual fire. And it's just like this because sativas are like becoming a dying breed. You know what I mean? So then the same thing with all the old classic sativas like the Jack Herreras and all this. What they're doing is they're taking them strength and putting them into the other genetics. So now because these are strong sativa genetics, the Jack Herrera, the Blue Dreams, the fucking what was it? The Green Cracks, even the Rhinos. What's that thing called? Rhino, no, not Rhino. Northern Lights. There you go.
Well, they got the
Rhino shit back in the day.
Yeah.
Was it Romulan?
The Romulan. Well, Romulan was a little bit later. I think they started doing the Romulan. Probably
Romulan was already in the 2000s.
Yeah, early in the mid 2000s.
AK-47 and Romulan were like the early 2000s. Northern Lights.
I think AK is a 96 strain.
Oh, AK is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're talking Prop 215 with AK. It's an oldie. It's been around probably just as long, if not longer, than Trainwreck.
I'd say longer than Trainwreck for sure. First time Trainwreck popped up around me was in I'll say 2004 or 5 era. Because then all of a sudden we just had like 2-3 years of Trainwreck like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's another pure sativa that just yields hella crazy.
Yeah, and the genetics are readily available. They were selling seeds.
It's a very unique look, the Trainwreck too. They're like, and the smell too is like pine solly. You know what I mean?
I do like the big chunky nug look of a
very dense chunky nugs.
Yeah,
with that kind of like sharp tooth. They're like pointed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The nug
it must not be a genetically desirable weed
like to cross over with.
Yeah, because you don't ever see any of that stuff laying around.
You don't ever see no Trainwreck nothings outside of Trainwreck, and I don't even think I've ever seen Trainwreck in any of these dispensaries. And I work with dispensaries.
Yeah, dispensaries back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, late
medical
2000s,
shit. Yeah,
like that whole era. Trainwreck was readily available.
Fuck yeah,
and just like a staple almost. Like Northern Lights, I think Northern Lights.
For us, it was the staples. In 2005, when I had my first medical card, and so like it was the staples were always OG Kush, Granddaddy Purple, and then there would be like the more expensive shit like the Platinum Kush, and the fucking Purple Urkel was always more expensive than the Granddaddy. And like back in the days when you be in them dispensaries, we used to call them cannabis clubs. But like you be in a line and it would be like a legit old lady in there. She'd be like, "This one, give me the Urkel. That one's better for my appetite and my arthritis." And you're like, "Oh shit, they really be in here because they need it medicinally." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm in here talking about like I got a back issue and just faking shit.
It took a long time for CBD to be a thing. So I would say
you had to smoke heavy indicas.
It was the late. It probably was the early 2010s when the CBD thing started becoming a thing where growers were trying to like key in on.
But it was about the past 10 years. Yeah,
I got the Harlequin, the like one of the very first like CBD heavy strains when it wasn't even heavy compared to like what you can get now. But
yeah.
I remember that being like a one of those times where I was like, "What is it?"
Treat myself.
The appeal it sold me. I was like, oh, "I never had that. Let me try that." And I smoked the shit. And I was like, "What the fuck did I just buy?"
Yeah, because you're not getting high.
Man, what the fuck?
It's for like anti-anxiety purposes and and anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, it's all like whatever, old people stuff. At that time, I was only 20 something, so not interesting to me. But yeah, California is kind of the pioneer for all this stuff, this culture.
Boy, we done pioneered this.
Huh?
Let's hit the weed spot. Let's hit the LIQ.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those are reminiscing of the old times.
Like, what's crazy is growing up in where obviously you're from the West Coast, but like with the weed culture in my city, it was crazy because once like everybody, you remember the 2000 maybe 7 to 2010 era, it was like the Wild West with cannabis clubs. They just dispensaries started popping up everywhere, and then like even like we had this one shop. It was a local comic book store, but you could go get a tree in that motherfucker too. You know what I mean? And it was crazy because everyone and their mama just up there all of a sudden. Then you had all these the Church of Zion popped up. They were legit, where it's like a church and they selling weed in that motherfucker. And then you don't pay no tax because up in there it's a religion. So it's a donation, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's kind of crazy living in that area where you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you never could not find weed. Like it was just,
Yeah. At one point, San Diego had more cannabis clubs than Starbucks and Burger King's combined.
Whoa. And you'd be having Starbucks. I was in San Diego not too long ago.
So it's nowhere near like the Wild West. The Wild West,
Starbucks is everywhere.
Specific time, and it won't ever be that way ever again. There's just no reason for it. Everybody wanted to get their quick buck because they were making some money.
Fuck yeah.
And then
hand over fist. But then also too, there's things that came with it too. Like for example, if you weren't all the way legit, then you weren't protected by nobody.
Yeah,
and you had to protect yourself.
They
you know what I mean? Motherfuckers is definitely shaking you down, or motherfuckers is robbing you, or like you just had to do all that type of what the business what comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
All the big dogs, like even Harborside, they had a documentary on this motherfucker, and like it's a notoriously cash business. I mean, I'm in the cannabis industry. It's just how it be for 90% of the time especially when you're doing this type of. Anyways, he had the whole little documentary series on the HBO, and like just to transfer his money, he got a goddamn. They're all former Navy SEAL or like Special Force. They're all bad motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And they're all dressed to the T, outfitted with all the weaponry and everything. They all the right cards and everything that they need to have all this heavy artillery, and they just transferring this money around in the what is it called? In the armored truck. You feel me?
Oh, the Brinks trucks?
Yeah, hell yeah. So it's like, like if you're trying to fuck with this motherfucker, but see, if you're a regular old mom and pop joint, man, it ain't nothing for stopping the mob to running up in your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the dude? You remember you heard of Harborside though, right?
Yeah, the TLC series for them.
It was on TLC. There you go. My bad, not HBO. I knew it was some kind of acronym.
Yeah, I think it was TLC or Travel Channel. I'm pretty sure it was TLC. They were the ones that were kind of like a little bit out there. Every once in a while, you'd be watching something on TLC and like, this is on TV. What the fuck? That body is like split open. People chopping them up.
Whoa.
We're on the Learning Channel. We're going to learn how to fucking like do some heart surgery or some shit. You're like, what?
They don't know how many serial killers that might have created. Just like these little kids watching it, like, and they get infatuated with cutting bodies open.
I can't watch those surgery shows.
Like that one dude you was just talking about. We were talking about serial killers before we jumped on here, but that one dude you were talking about with the bones, right? Infatuated with bones, right? See, like that's just, you know what I mean? Like they said Jeffrey Dahmer in that series, when they showed him as a kid, he was fascinated with the insides of things. Like, whoa. There's
Oh,
some
yeah.
weird things to be fascinated if as a child, right?
There you go. There's
You
your
gotta
sign.
watch the signs. You know what I mean?
There's your
You see
sign.
a child killing an animal, you gotta watch that kid. Put him on the right path because that kid's gonna be a serial killer.
Yeah.
Don't kill the animals.
Yeah.
They start with cats and dogs and things of that nature.
Yeah,
And they
unfortunately.
graduate.
Yeah.
That one is still crazy. The one that's actually might be an active serial killer in New England right now.
Yeah,
That one is
interesting.
nuts.
I'm gonna take some time and learn
Breaking
about
news: J.K. Dobbins to the Broncos.
Yep, I just saw that one.
That's annoying.
Sorry, RJ Harvey owners.
Well, that's a comp pick that's coming to the Chargers. I'll take it.
You know what kind of role
get a
does RJ Harvey now have? Because a lot of what he's good at, maybe McLaughlin might not be as productive, realistically.
He's an
But
around the edge guy.
but like, yeah, it's like this.
I'm talking about Harvey. Like Harvey's the explosive guy that'll have the stretch runs to the outside and get around the edges, and that's his. That's what he shines in. JK doesn't shine in all that, but JK is like a big play guy. Like
he got the same kind of deal as Chubb got. He
runs out of gas. That JK.
Well, Chubb got 2.5, and Dobbins got 5.2. Different. But
Oh shit!
Yeah,
you got 5.5.
You got
And your boy that replaced him only got 9. So I mean, I know that's half, but still though, JK got a nice little bag.
Yeah, he got paid for doing, he got paid.
He got
for
1,000 all-purpose last year.
He did pretty good. Yeah.
I hate him.
For all things considering, he got another injury or whatever. That sucks. But
all right, kiddo, let's just do it. I'll trade you Nick Chubb because you got Joe Mixon over there, and I'll take J.K. Dobbins. I got Harvey over there. Let's just be safe.
All right, you want to trade Harvey for Dobbins? Okay.
Your selective hearing is fucking to the T. I was like, he took that and threw that back at me. I was like, I didn't say that. I'm like, oh, selective hearing.
All right. Well, I heard I have Dobbins.
Yeah.
You have Harvey.
I have Chubb. But I have Harvey. You have Mixon. Let's just switch it up.
No, I thought you wanted Harvey to come over to my side.
What do you got over there? I don't think you can afford.
I thought you were convinced Dobbins was the guy.
Try to use your dark side sorcery on me.
It's like, well, I'm going to use my advantage.
You know what?
Yep.
That Nick Chubb deal's walking out the door right now. Joe Mixon, he's hurting.
I've got Jerome Ford though.
So you want Samson? I'll give you Samson.
I don't have any Samson out of all those rookie drafts. I didn't get not one share of Samson. I was kind of with myself.
And you love Samson so much, though, but not where you landed.
And then I even went ahead and got Martinez, which I also liked way before the draft. I know it's not on paper like the most appealing landing spot for Martinez, but the fact is, like, if one of those guys goes down, Martinez is the perfect guy to fill in and start doing some of that role. In Seattle, that running back duo is pretty valuable. I'd like to get at least one of the running backs for Seattle when healthy. And I felt like Martinez was the value. I don't think both of those guys are going to be.
I would have took Martinez probably over a Taj Brooks because I think he went in that same round.
I think a lot of the times Brooks was going well before Martinez. It's that Seattle landing spot. People look at that and they're very scared because they got Charbonnet ahead of
those guys die.
Martinez.
It only takes one.
And it only takes one death for Martinez to fill because that is a tandem. I mean, we do like Ken Walker as the 1A for sure, and maybe he is a solid 1, and Charbonnet's a 2, but Charbonnet still does get work.
We've seen Charbonnet carry a load last year.
Yeah, and
he did all right.
He did okay. I think the volume was there, and the production wasn't really that amazing, but he did get some touchdowns and didn't split anything. Like that backfield was all his.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, a Jedi mindfuck. No, honestly, I thought he was talking about R.J. Harvey. So when he said Dobbins,
you probably misheard me. I definitely have RJ.
Oh yeah, you want to trade R.J. Harvey and acquire Dobbins? I would make that trade. I know. Of course you would. Get it there. Who wouldn't? I'm sure there's a few people out there in this world that wouldn't take R.J. Harvey. I've heard a lot of hate on R.J. Harvey recently, and I
it's kind of crazy.
It stems from
he's in a Sean Payton. I already expected them to be some form of okay, this was my RJ take even before Dobbins. I think it still stands. I think RJ is like 180 rush attempts, but I'm looking for all the targets. And like that's the one thing that's the caveat is that we didn't really see him coming out of college being this crazy target hog, but apparently in OTAs, he's displayed quite the route running skills. So maybe a lot of the early heavy lifting might go to Dobbins, and the rest to RJ.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Honestly,
but I'm not scared off of. I think this actually helps us targeting RJ because if people, there's a lot of Dobbins truthers out there that's gonna push RJ down.
Yeah, I'll be one of those guys. I'm gonna prioritize in a redraft. I'm gonna prioritize Dobbins over R.J. Harvey right now at this moment, and that could change. So, but at the
RJ's gonna go before Dobbins though too. So you'll just be the guy that waits on Dobbins, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if that ends up being the case where Harvey still retains his draft capital as where we see him going right now in best balls and dynasties or whatever, I would be surprised, honestly. I think he's gonna drop immediately with this news.
What is ADP?
Yeah, his ADP is gonna fall, and
for sure.
I think the playing time is at best going to be 60-40 out the gate as long as Dobbins continues where he left off last year.
I think I'm on the flip side of that. I do like.
Did Dobbins hit for 1,000 last year?
Definitely on pace to do a lot of. He got hurt at the worst possible time.
Yeah, he did. You're right, kid.
He fucking was RB1, and all of a sudden he's out.
He did J.K. Dobbins things.
Done that 6 weeks thing, and then
I'm buying all the RJ Harvey everywhere now.
It was the JK doing the JK things.
Yeah,
JK is going to die at one point. I'm buying all the Harveys. What's his guarantees on that 5? Because when they say 5, like look at Rodgers 13.
No,
10 million
it just says this is a 1-year deal.
Driven. What is JK's? Because that'll tell me what they intend on doing with him.
All it says here is from Rap Sheet and Pelissero that it's a 1-year, $5.25 million deal.
I feel like it's $3 million guaranteed right there, maybe $4 million.
I'll see.
And then
Then
it feels like what I initially felt before they even signed him there, because it was either Chicago or the Broncos is what we were hearing the last couple of days for JK, right? So I was like, okay, if he lands in Chicago, he'll actually have a role that I feel like, you know what I mean, it hurts Swift. But if he landed in the Broncos, I still feel the same. I still think I'm with Kidder with the 60-40 split, but I'm on 60% of it going to Harvey.
He had
there.
1,000
That's where
yards
I'm
and
at.
1,000 over 1,000 yards and 9 TDs last year.
That's what I thought. I thought he hit for 1,000, bro. On my mama.
He had over 1,000 yards from scrimmage and 9 TDs in 13 games.
Yeah, I see.
Oh, yards from scrimmage, so it wasn't a 1,000-yard rushing season.
No, yards from scrimmage.
Okay.
He had 900 something on the ground though, so it was mad decent.
I
No
think
to the
Denver,
end zone
I think
that
Denver
Jake
required
has.
to start. I don't think they acquired him and want to pay him $5 million to be insurance policy.
Okay, it came out Aaron Rodgers is married.
Yeah, he was rocking a ring on Rogan.
Yep. He said he's been married for a couple months, it says here.
There you go. And now he's ready to start his new career with the Yinzers down there or up there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Shout out to
old Aaron. 7 again.
He's wearing number 8 like his favorite, Steve Young. That's gonna be kind of crazy in the black and yellow. I never thought of that. This is the team that he beat in the Super Bowl too. The one that he got to. They probably hate him, huh?
Well, James Cook showed up for minicamp.
Yeah, I made the phone call. Quit this shit. Quit this bullshit. Get up in there.
He says, I like my money. That's why I'm here.
That's really what he said.
In quotes, he didn't want to get fined.
Oh, yeah. Smart. That's crazy. He said that. He just got to earn some respect of mine right there. He said, listen, I'm here because I'm not trying to get fined. But at the same time, give me my fucking money. What's he think he's going to get, though?
He's not going to get the 20 a year.
Derrick Henry just got paid.
He's not going to get
an old, wily veteran like them. He's on a first contract. Probably going to get like 10. They're probably going to try to give him like 10 million a year.
Probably so.
Yeah, he's trying to get that 15. You got to have years of doing that to earn that type of shit. The only ones who get 15 right now is what CMC, Derrick Henry, and Saquon. I think that's him. We've been rocking from the crack of dawn.
Yeah, but we're five minutes shy of 4 hours.
All right. I know I need it. I've been saying some crazy shit and feeling some type of way for a minute, man. I'm running off fumes.
I can't wait to eat. Wifey made some fried chicken and fried rice last night,
God,
man.
you're making me
wait
hungry,
to go
JD.
slap that shit.
Yeah, I'm about to eat some leftover L&L's right now, my damn self.
Oh man. Yep.
Just about to smack. Well, you already know. Playmakers on the Wednesday evening. You know what I mean?
We're doing Wednesday or we doing Thursday?
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Playmakers Wednesday or Thursday evening. Oh yeah, Thursday. That's right. We're doing Thursday while Spencer has the Wednesdays occupied. And OJ and a blunt for breakfast, manana. Thursday again with it. You know what I mean? And back at you with Wake Your Game Up on Friday tonight. Check us out on Stay Tuned Live.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Stay Tuned Live gang over there on YouTube. You know what I mean? Yeah, make sure to check us out there. Stay Tuned Live on YouTube.
My mama.
Yeah. And yeah, man, everybody enjoy the rest of y'all day.
Come on now.
Peace.
Peace.
Deuces.